Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk.
I did it. I guess I gotta tell you something.
Say it to me. Ah, yeah, jealous. I don't have mine yet.
Sorry for those of you listening at home. Some of the official merch came in. So Cynical Nerd coffee mug now going into my mug for beverage. Sorry, that's really bad. We have a merch store up. Our links in all of our socials. Yeah, I'm chilling right out of the gate. I don't give a shit.
Chill away.
We have some cool stuff up there.
There is some really nice stuff. And now I finally get to get my Hot Dads shirt. Very excited for that one.
Right.
I think it'll make me feel more like a hot dad because you're wearing the label directly on you. People get drawn in. Is it because of House of the Dragon? Is it because Pornhub? Who knows? But they're looking at you and then they go, if that guy thinks he's a hot dad, there's no real reason that I shouldn't be able to consider myself one as well.
Right. You're rising tide raises all boats, baby.
That's
You're pulling everybody else up.
That's it. Let's go straight to the top.
I always liked that saying, a rising tide.
It's pretty good. It was pretty rousing. Not arousing, rousing. Other things you say are arousing.
It was Ronda Rousing.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing about I wanted to get the classic logo, but it's kind of like this one where it's like just sort of a black square wrapped around. I have to figure that out. We might end up with the same mug. We'll see.
One of these days, maybe I'll go to a specific third-party mug vendor for all your mug needs.
Yourmugs.com.
Yeah.
Mugshot.com. No, doesn't work.
All right, I have a dad story. I swear I don't try to start all these podcasts off with a dad story, but I have one.
I make my son do interesting shit so that I can talk about it on the podcast.
If
he's being boring or if he's like sleeping or something, I'll clap in his face until he does something cool. Just for the story,
start snapping your fingers.
Yeah.
Mine's actually borderline negligence. You ready? Oh, it's exciting.
All right, let's use this episode in a legal case in the future. Let's do it.
Right. It's actually a very short story. Last night, had a small headache. Not a crazy one.
Good. Sorry to cut you off, but
it's okay.
You ever just have a real good sip of just some dark coffee?
What's his name?
This is coffee is what my cigarette is now that I don't smoke anymore. My personal universal bubble where I just like retreat into my own mind is achieved through coffee.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, please continue.
Yeah, your coffee story was way better than mine about my son. No, so this is actually super duper quick. I had a mild headache last night. Go downstairs. It was annoying enough to keep me from falling asleep. Go downstairs, grab 2 Advil out of the case. I always read the instructions, even though I've taken them 1,000 times. Take 1 every 4 to 6 hours. If 1 doesn't work, take 2. So I grabbed 2, go upstairs, take 1, fall asleep, wake up, go to work, bam. Sam kept Grace at home today. He's got a head cold, standard head cold, stuffy, sounds like shit. We didn't want to take him to school. So she worked from home, which is a luxury that she can do. And she calls me in somewhat of a panic around like 11 o'clock in the morning. And she goes, "What did you take last night?" And I said, "Huh?" And she said, "Well, Grayson just came downstairs and said that he ate a candy that he found next to your bed and that it didn't taste good." And I was like, "Oh, it's an Advil. It was just 1.
It's my meth."
Yeah, he ate my blue meth. But he ate 1 Advil, which, as anyone listening knows, is completely fine.
Yeah.
So he's totally fine. But it startled me because he's never done anything like that.
Yeah.
I've probably talked about it before because we talk about our kids ad nauseum. He's not a shove shit in his mouth he's not supposed to type of kid. He never did that with Legos or pens or objects he's not supposed to eat. He was always a very good kid in that regard. So when she called me, it was startling to say the least. And I then went to find out, because of course you have to go look it up, that a dose that would be worrisome is if he was like 18 months and had like 600 milligrams or more because that's like toxic and needs to go to the ER.
It's always like the first time. That's what I'm finding is that the first time you come across something, it's really horrifying. And then from then on, it's like no big deal. They could take twice as many the next time. And you're like, this turned out okay last time. I think I'm going to be all right.
Yeah. Take 6.
But like one of the kind of stereotypical things that I found about fatherhood and just sharing sort of your experiences that scare you is if you tell enough people, you'll come across someone who did had that, but worse. And it makes you feel like, all right, I'm not the shittiest dad in the world. So like, you're going to end up like talking to someone about how the time he got into Advil, and they're gonna be like, oh, my kid got into my heroin once. He was completely fine. We were freaked out. 12 hours later, totally back to normal. So just look forward to that heroin story. And
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey baby, don't take heroin.
Can I tell an uplifting story now?
Tell me. Hit me.
My grandmother died. She's dead now. That happened.
Oh, that's not uplifting.
It's not at all. That was the Kansas City Shuffle. I went this way and made everyone look this way, and then I go that way. My grandmother died.
Hey, I fixed it. Looks better.
It does look a lot better. Wonderful woman. And I miss her very much. I was fortunate enough. Well, here's the thing. This is what I kind of wanted to talk about. I know we try not to get like too heavy here, but we do from time to time. But I just felt like this has sort of been sitting on my chest since she passed, which was, what was that? I think just under a week ago, Tuesday. And I was there. So she died in the hospital that I work at. So of course my mom was like, she's there if you want to be there. And I did. I'm one of 40 grandchildren or something.
Hang on. Can I ask a semi-morbid question and interrupt your very emotional story?
Yes,
Were you in the room when she passed?
I was like, I had my hands on her body when she passed. Yeah.
Well,
so
like did you hear the beep? Like in all hospitals?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I was going to say. Like that's the thing that for whatever reason, it's just like in me and I just want to get it out. It's it's not that it's lesser when you get a phone call that, thank you for holding on to whatever that was. It's it's when you get a phone call that someone died, it's a phone call. It's right. Like it still sucks. Someone you care about dies and it's awful. But like watching someone go is brutal. She did not die before her time. She was 87 years old. She had a wonderful life. Right. And like a lot of things in life, movies just make it seem more like graceful than it is. And it's actually, I won't go into details for her, just out of respect for her, but it's really not a fun thing to be present for. Yeah. But like you owe it to the people you love. I don't know. It's just, that's kind of the weird point I'm stuck on. It's just like, it was just a bizarre experience. It's unfortunately not the first time I've seen someone go, but I hope it is the last. But anyway, sorry to start the episode off on that downer note. But she was a wonderful woman, and her funeral is going to be Wednesday, and yeah, in a really big church, the one I got baptized in. Cool. Every time I'm in church, I feel like I'm lying because I am because I don't belong there.
All right, cool. And so where can everybody find you?
Yeah. So that's the episode.
Episode 84. It's called Sad Boy Sundays, even though this is a Monday.
Yeah. I'm not sad at all. Like I said, very, very long life.
Yeah. I feel like
accomplished woman.
What's your age at which it's not sad anymore? Everyone's got an age.
Well, I hate to piggyback on the Louis C.K. joke, but like I think the age that I would not ask how someone died is like 72. Like that, like even like 70 probably.
That can be a Louis C.K. joke, but I don't remember it, and it's just a valid conversational question to ask, right? Like he can't claim that shit.
Yeah, no. He made a joke about
CK.
He just wanted to live long enough that he wanted to lose enough weight that somebody had to ask how he died. That's what it was.
which is a good joke.
Yeah.
I get to go see him. I keep forgetting. Shit,
yeah,
when is that?
That's excellent. Good for you.
I love that for you. That's the appropriate usage for that. I have yet to see someone pass in front of my eyes, and I can imagine, as you said, it's not as graceful. I'd imagine terrible things. I was in the hospital quite frequently when my grandmother on my mom's side passed, when she was in the hospital and then consequently passed away. I visited her once or twice before she passed. And And then it's so weird that they do it. But my mom called me. My mom was there.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, grandmom passed away. Do you want to come see her?" Like before they took her.
Yeah.
Like they'll let the dead
just sit there for hours.
A corpse sit there so family can come look at it. Like that's like weirdly morbid to me in like a not cool way. Like to me personally, I get that some people might need that, like to like see that, but it's such a weird thing. How do I put this without? It's not. I don't think this sounds disrespectful, and if it does, I 1,000% apologize. I don't think it's disrespectful because it's a generality. It's not about your grandmother. Seeing a person who you had seen alive previously, like the day before, or a couple hours before, or even a week before, and then they look different. Like, and I know that's like a no shit statement, but like something's gone, and I don't believe in like souls and shit like that. But I mean, like physically, like I don't know if it's from where she was. Like, again, it's graphic, but my grandmother passed away a long time ago, so fuck it. But I don't know if it was where she was having trouble breathing at the end and they had taken her off a ventilator, but her face looked like gaunt and her cheeks were like sucked in from where she had been like, breathing heavy. Yeah. I don't know what does that, but she wasn't like a scrawny old lady. She had some extra weight on her. So to see her look like that was extra shocking because it almost looked like someone went, "Here's a wax cast of your grandmother that I made for a horror show." And we made it look like she had her soul sucked out of her. Again, I know that sounds disrespectful.
I actually agree 100% with you. Like, I felt like it was the same thing when my brother died. He died, and then we were in the fucking room with him for like hours. And it was the same with her. It's strange. Weird. No, I agree because I don't believe in souls. And I think like once they're gone, it's kind of like, well, everybody, let's scram. Like, let's get out of here and let them do their thing. Now, I understand, like, I can see if my mom died before I got to the hospital, like being like, well, I just want to see her one last time. Go in, pay my respects, whatever, get out.
Yeah.
But even like, so some people would say like, well, what's the difference between that and a funeral when they have the cadaver up there? I think it's just as weird.
Well, if you've seen a cadaver at the funeral home, yeah.
I have told like everybody close to me in my life, when I die, I do not want my body, like throw that shit in the fucking oven immediately. I don't want anyone looking at my corpse. There's something about that. I have like a primal fear about that. But anyway, so I actually did, like, I went there with my mom. All of her brothers and sisters were there and their spouses. I was, like I said, I was the only grandkid, just because proximity. Everybody loved her, but I literally work in the hospital that she died in.
Right.
And so when she went, I hung around.
It wasn't a contest or anything.
Yeah, but if it was, I won. Yeah,
we were there.
But maybe 10 minutes I hung around while everybody, like, it was actually really cathartic. Nobody was like openly weeping or anything. Everybody was just recollecting, having good times. And because like she was in the room, like I was like, I'm going back to work now. Like everybody's okay. Yeah. My mom was like not unstable or anything. I was like, I'm gone. Like I can't be here. It's really bizarre to me.
It is a weird thing. And again, like you said, like if it was my mom and I wasn't there, would I want to see her before they took her? Yeah, I think I would. But when you're not in that position, it just feels like, okay, well, your aunts and uncles are going to stop by, so she's just going to sit here decaying in front of our eyes for 2 hours. Like, it's so fucking weird to me. Anyway, death is icky. No one likes it.
Death is icky. I hope I'm here for a long time.
I'm gonna make you feel better. You don't believe in the afterlife, right?
I do not.
So when you're dead, you're dead. Then why do you have a phobia about people seeing your body? You won't be fucking alive to worry about it.
I know. And like every other time, whenever people try to hit me, like, well, what if you're wrong? I'm like, if I'm wrong, then I win, because like, or I guess if I'm wrong, I lose. But like,
well, depending on what wrong you are.
The only way, the way that it just dawned on me eventually, like the only way I can possibly, with what I believe, and I don't choose what I believe, it's just what I believe, and I just believe there's nothing. I'm just flesh, and then when I'm gone, I'm gone. The only way I can possibly let death bother me is while I'm alive. Like that's the ironic thing, because once I'm dead, I'm not thinking of anything. I'm not thinking. I'm gone.
Whoa.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you ever tried DMT, man? But for whatever reason, the cadaver thing, I mean, when you're gone, people they still remember you. And I don't know, when I'm at funerals, like because it's it's what you're supposed to do. You go up and you pay your respects to the body. I do that shit in like 10 seconds flat and I'm out and I don't go back up. Like it's like an outdated tradition to me or something. It's just so I get it makes people feel better, but I really do think it's one of those just like sociological things where you think that that's what you're supposed to do, so people think it's normal. But
while we're on the topic of death, welcome to the Cynical Nerd. 15 minutes of death talk. I got 5 more for you. I agree. I think viewings and things like that are a little weird. You're looking at a body that's been stuffed full of chemicals and like sewn back together and tried to make to look like they were alive. With one exception, my wife's grandmother, everyone called her Nani because she is Italian grandmother. Her name was Marie. I loved her to fucking pieces. She was such a sweetheart. And I was there. We visited her like the night before she passed. And we all knew she didn't have, long left. And then we went to the viewing. And I had been to a couple viewings in my life. And every time the corpse looks like another weird wax imposter. And it's unsettling. I'm like, why are we doing this? That's a husk of something that's not around anymore.
Yeah.
But they actually did a fantastic job of her makeup, and she looked just like I thought she would. She didn't look weird and gaunt, or like her face didn't look like it was weird because her lips were stitched closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She looked so fucking good. Props to this funeral home. It's in Vineland. if you ever for any of your death needs, Vineland, New Jersey. She looked so good that I had the urge to take a picture. No, I did not. I did not do it.
People do that though, which is fucking weird. My God, I can't stand it.
But my immediate adult, social, and normalized brain went, hold up, you fucking weirdo. Don't you dare do that. That's like not cool. Even though some people will literally take selfies with dead bodies.
Like this.
Because my thought process was, oh my God, they did a really good job of her makeup. She looks just like I remember her. I want to show my mom who did not go. And then my brain went, don't do that. And I didn't. And that was my story, and I'm done.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about happy shit.
Welcome to the Cynical Nerd. Episode 84. We talked about the merch store and death. And speaking of death, that service that we just signed up to start using to share podcast trailers and stuff with people.
Yeah.
It's shutting down.
Are you serious?
I just got an email earlier.
Wait,
today.
like the paid one or the freebie switch around thing?
Well, you can do either on that site. The site itself is free.
The whole thing is done.
Yeah, it's called Audrey.
Rip
Audrey.io. Sad. It was a good idea. I don't know. They didn't charge for membership, so maybe they just went under because they didn't have money. Who knows? Yeah, weird. So maybe you won't be hearing. I'm going to look up other ways to do that kind of stuff, like free cross promotions and stuff, because there's got to be other services out there. So who knows? Fire Breathing Kittens might have been the only trailer that runs at the end.
Could be the only one.
Be one. It's just for you guys, baby.
Yeah, maybe they're going under because of us. We came in.
Yeah,
that's
like all these guys. There's no pool. There's no nobody. My T-shirt should be in tomorrow. I'm excited to rep them. I'll send you pictures, but not.
But I will be ordering mine this week.
It's okay.
Very excited.
Episode 84, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We have trailers for Creed 3, Titans Season 4, All Quiet on the Western Front, Final Fantasy 16, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania came out today, and of course, 1899, which Derek and I are both excited for, from the creators of Dark, which we've talked about on the podcast before. This is coming out later this year, right?
1899 in like 3 weeks, the 17th of November.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to I didn't want to misspeak. That's the correct terminology. How's your day going besides all the stuff we just talked about with the cadavers?
It's going fine. It's going great. I'm still on my weight loss journey. I hate when people call it that. I immediately lose respect for you if you call it a journey. You're just losing weight.
I like the inflection that you gave it though.
Yeah. And it's going well. I'm making tweaks here, making tweaks there. I'm feeling good. You know, I was at my mom's this whole weekend, and I got to tell you something. I got to make
Pause. Did you give her the smooch that I told you to give her?
Absolutely not. I don't even remember what you're talking about. So I was probably like, I'll do that, man. No problem.
I asked you to give her a kiss on the cheek and then say, that's from Crisp. Very softly.
I'll do it at the funeral.
Please continue.
I right when she's at her most vulnerable, she's like really upset.
She's weeping. She thinks you're going to console her, and you give her a smooch on the cheek, and then you whisper, "Happy funeral day from Crisp."
You're gonna be mad at me. I did something bad.
Okay. What did you do?
I failed sober October. So here's what it is. Here's what I'm not blaming it on anything. Like, I'm weak. That's why. But I did start early, so like I feel like failing a week early is not the worst thing in the world. But anyway.
Yeah, sure. No big deal. Whatever you get to yourself.
My mom, who I'm like, after all this happened, I'm like, I'm gonna spend the weekend with you, like, so you can just,
This is a fucking get out of jail free card, you motherfucker.
It's not. I'm not. It's because I'm weak. 100%. And I told Veronica this. My mom drinks like that. She's not like a drunkard or anything, but she drinks wine every night. And I was like, we're gonna go there, and she's gonna be like, have a glass, because we like to drink together. Like, have a glass of wine with me. She makes it sound so exciting, like it's like we're doing something, like we're taking E or something.
I promise it won't give you the headache it always does.
Yeah. And I didn't put up a fight at all. I didn't even go, I shouldn't, Mom. I'm doing sober October. I was like, yeah, pour that shit up. So I failed. 2 nights I drank there. So I'm sorry. I failed you. I don't care that I failed myself. I'm just upset that I failed you.
It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm kidding. No, I was actually just gonna say 2 days and then I'm done.
2 days.
I started September 26th.
Oh, so you're just doing a month, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I didn't fail either. I started earlier than you did.
You did?
I started because I got sick, so I was on antibiotics. I couldn't drink.
Well, was it a full month? Was it 30 days?
I think it was like just shy, 28, 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say you did it. No, that's dude. The whole point is to just take a break from drinking, and we both did that. 2 days is 30 days for me. I didn't even think about it until like 10 minutes before we started recording, and I was like, oh shit, it is. And I'm at my weight loss journey. I'm at 204 today.
Very nice. Very
4 pounds away from my first soft goal. And I say soft both metaphorically and physically, because I will still be soft in the midsection.
Right.
But it's my first goal to hit and to get past. I have a company party that I've been like, that's my cheat day. I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be a bunch of food, and I've started to talk myself out of it already because I'm like in this mindset of don't do that. That's bad for you.
I really am getting like, initially I'm like, oh, I'm going to have this day. I'm going to have that cheat day. But I am just, by the way, the holidays, I'm going to eat whatever the fuck I want. The major ones like Thanksgiving and Christmas, not like Martin Luther King Day, but like, you know, the big ones. But I realize the further along I get into it, I do get cravings. Like I see a commercial for fucking Domino's and I'm like, fuck, that would be good. But I'm like getting more strict as time goes. I guess that makes sense, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud. You just get better at it the more you practice at it. It's
that, and at least for me, I'm impatient and I know what my end goal is. Yeah. And whenever I think about eating something shitty, I'm like, that is going to delay me this much time for what kind of reward? And whenever I think about that, I'm like, it's not worth it. Because I know what I feel like after I eat McDonald's.
You feel
it's
like,
not good.
Yeah, not good.
And
at
I know
all.
what I feel like after I consume an entire stuffed crust pizza. And
God.
The answer is not good.
During, incredible, but immediately afterwards.
Yeah, when it's hitting my taste buds, that's the good part. And then everything after is bad. And I'm, also trying to cut back on ums this podcast, and I'm failing miserably at that too so far. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We have a bunch of news. It starts off with Batman stuff. Batman and DC. First and foremost, I'd like to say once more, we were right.
We were correct.
Last week, we talked about the the movie's out now, and we have a spoiler warning at the beginning of the podcast. So guess what, motherfucker? Superman's in the post-credit scene. If you fast-forwarded last week, now you just found out. And by Superman, I mean Henry Cavill.
The Cavillster.
The one man on planet Earth that can turn Derek into an optimistic fan and succeed. He pulled through.
Yeah.
That's only going to bolster our optimism for him moving forard.
Yeah.
It's probably not a good formula.
He did that for me. He made me a better person just by doing
without
that.
Fucking your significant other, which we thought would be part of the deal.
Which also would be okay. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Henry.
Go ahead,
What's
Henry.
the nickname for Henry? Hen? Go ahead, Hen.
I don't like that.
It's just 2 syllables or none at all.
What is it? Chickens and hen? No, it's roosters, right?
Yeah. They're all chickens.
Is a hen as a female?
Yes.
Okay, never mind then.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do you want to say it anyway? We'll just pretend it's flip flop for now.
No, no.
I would do it.
the alliteration, not the alliteration, sorry. The metaphor was just, you can come fuck us, Henry Cavill. Yeah, you're the big rooster cock, and we're all hens, except for you were supposed to be hens, and we were supposed to be, I don't know, chickens? Where was my brain going? Not working. We were right. Not only is he back, but it sounds like he's back, and he's got multiple projects lined up. He released a statement today on Instagram, now that Black Adam is out, and most people know about the spoiler. If you don't, surprise, motherfucker. And he said it was a really cool picture of him from the movie in the Superman Man of Steel costume with the fucking curl. My boy is just a delicious honey boo. And he had a little video of him in his adorable accent. I really think, Henry, you could just get this bussy if you want it. And put that out there. You want to come get it?
Just come on over.
Yeah.
Oh, he's already here. He's in LA. Just come to the other side of the country. Come to East Coast.
I've been playing Death Stranding. It's not that easy. Yeah. And he had a nice little message. He had a nice little message to everybody that said, thanks to all the fans for all the support. And in his adorable little British accent, whatever his crazy middle names are. You make him sound so meek
and tiny. His adorable little tiny little fingers. Accent.
He's a ham hock of muscle. I don't know what you're talking about. And he said thank you to the fans, and that there was more to come, and that we would be happy. And that's what we've been hearing, is that he's signed not only some kind of deal for this post-credit scene, but to appear as Superman in other projects moving forward, whether that be cameos and other things. Everyone seems to think of Man of Steel 2 is on the table. That would all be very exciting, and I'm happy about that. And me
too.
Yay.
Very good. Very good. We knew it, and now we know it more. He really is in that video such a cutie patootie, though. He's like, just the way he talks, he's so sweet. He's not like your normal AAA action star. Like, what's up? No, he's just like, I'm very happy to tell you guys that you were correct, and because of your
there's
support.
No way that he talks dirty during sex, right? Because I can't imagine it. No,
like when they ask him to, he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't do that to you. You're too beautiful."
Well, actually, what we would say is, "I'm sorry, I cannot do that."
Sorry, Rav.
Would you like to come sit on my cock? I'm so sorry, Henry Cavill, you sweet man. He's gonna be
sorry,
Superman.
You're still British, buddy. You fall into that category.
Yeah, we'll crumple you up like an old biscuit and toss you into that bin. Anyway, there's other DC news. There are apparently multiple spin-off movies of the Batman in development. So we know about the upcoming Penguin series. We know that Batman 2 is in the works. There are other writers and directors writing scripts for films based on other villains in his rogues gallery, like Scarecrow, Clayface, and Professor Pig, or Pig, however you, tomato, I don't know. People have pronounced it differently in different outings. Professor Pig is actually he's basically like just a serial killer with like a pig mask on. It's unsettling. He wears like a butcher apron. Anyway. Outside of the world of Batman, James Gunn and Peter Safran have been meeting with executives for a quote-unquote secret DC film. Whatever it is, Gunn would reportedly direct, but it would have to wait until after Peacemaker Season 2, which is also happening. There's a lot of cool shit happening. Alongside the Henry Cavill stuff, you were about to say something, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
They're searching out directors who have vested interest before, such as Christopher McQuarrie, who's done Mission Impossible films lately. He did Fallout, and he worked with Cavill on Fallout. And there was rumors back in the day when that movie was coming out that he might be interested in doing a Superman film. He's a pretty good director, at least as far as action goes. So I'm game.
Is it my turn now?
It is. I'm sorry. I was rambling.
No, I'm just kidding. No, no, I'm glad you got it all out. Set it all out on the table so I could lap it up with my tongue.
Oh no.
No, I'm happy. It's like, I don't know. I feel like every 2 years this gets said, but it's like, it kind of seems like DC is getting their act together a little bit. Right. Yeah. How many times have you heard that said in 10 years? But no, it's exciting. I mean, they have a lot of good talent under their belt. It seems like Black Adam, I think it's doing well, like commercially, but not so much critically. But it just seems like it's still probably a good dumb action movie, which it's like, what do you expect from The Rock. I mean, I don't know. I still look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And we actually had an article about that, so we might as well touch on it right now. It's just off to a strong start in the box office. It's already surpassed Shazam's opening weekend. The initial estimates to have it in the 70 million range. It's at 67.87 million, so right there. So it was within averages. The Aquaman opened with about the same amount of money, went on to get like a domestic total of like 140 mil. You know, I don't like playing a numbers game on the podcast because that's not the kind of stuff that we're into talking about here, but that's good news.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson's got a lot of star power. Like Derek said, I mean, we've heard that the critics score the rough estimate, and of course you should always take Rotten Tomato scores with a giant grain of salt and go read the reviewers that you like and see what they had to say personally. But the general consensus seems to be fun action, good action, Dwayne Johnson's great as Black Adam, weak, boring plot, weak villain, which is like the case for like every, like you said, like every superhero origin story. It has to like suffer through the growing pains of just telling people who this person is. And surprise, all superheroes have a similar opening arc.
Yeah.
They all did in the comics. What's the catalyst? What's the MacGuffin that made them become the superhero they do? And times that by growing pains to... You know what I mean? It's all the same shit.
So I can't remember. I feel like the reviews for, just while we're on DC, I feel like the reviews for Gotham Knights dropped after we recorded last week's episode. Do we want to touch on that briefly?
Yes, we did. It was shit. Moving on. Sorry, I have one more thing to touch on, and I would love to touch on that, actually. So thanks for bringing it up. Outside of the new Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's probably going to have cameos in Flash. That was the rumor, and now it seems even more likely because they went back in for reshoots a couple months ago, right around the time that it sounds like he did the Black Adam cameo.
Right.
We know Ben Affleck not only is going to show up in Flash, which was reported a long time ago, he actually has a decent role as far as at least the opening of the film we know of. He also went in to do shoots with Jason Momoa and Aquaman, which was not announced previously, so we don't know if they're pulling these two back in. I'd be very happy if that was the answer. We had heard talk of a Superman film, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and produced by J.J. Abrams that would have a black Superman. That's apparently still in play, if for nothing else than J.J. star power, but like Joker, it would just be an outside DCEU continuity type thing, which is fine.
Yeah.
The rumors I had heard about that script were that this was going to be a Superman that had like decades of history on Earth already, which is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
And if they can do something neat with it, then I'm all for it.
What did you think of Man of Steel? Like, what was your, I don't think I know we've talked about BVS, but like, how did you feel about Man of Steel?
When I first saw Man of Steel back in the day, I thought that it was okay. I was not too sure how I felt about, at the time, how I felt about Zack Snyder's depiction of this character and having him be more conflicted. And the more time that passes from here in that movie, the more that I like it.
I agree with that. I agree with that. The biggest issue I have with that movie is just all the time. I think that's what everybody says about it. I wish it was just chronological. It felt so jarring to like keep going back and forth. Like, I just don't understand what the creative. I almost wish if there's like a super cut out there of it just all happening in the order it happens in. But in any event, even though it's like still not a great movie by any measure, it has some really iconic scenes. I think
really iconic
the scene
moments.
where fucking Kevin Costner dies is like etched into the most painful like crevice of my heart forever, where he's just like, stop, don't give yourself up just to save little old dad right before he gets overtaken by a fucking tornado. Heart-wrenching scene.
My biggest issues with Man of Steel, and this is not what I expected to dive into, but I'm ready for it, baby.
Let's do it, baby. Dive in, maybe.
DC fuckboy for life. Is when I originally watched that movie, I didn't necessarily agree with Jonathan Kent's viewpoints, and that's a stupid place to come at a movie from. And I'm not saying that you should go back and watch it and it's amazing and perfect. That movie has problems. But they were trying to push this narrative of his father saying, hide yourself. Like, the world is mean and cruel to things it doesn't understand. And he's right about that. He was not wrong. I think it was more so the way that the film went about it in a Superman film where everyone expects he's the big blue Boy Scout. He's always he's the paragon of good. He is lawful good. Is that the D&D reference?
Yeah.
He is the poster boy for all things. He will always find a way to do the right thing and do it with everybody in the end alive and happy. And we talked about Kevin Smith last week, and one of the biggest points of contention with Man of Steel was him killing Zod, I think, by far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the destruction in the city, sure, but superhero destruction porn is nothing new. The killing of Zod was contentious for a lot of people, and it always struck me as weird. So as much as I didn't agree with all of the story elements of that film when I first saw it, the one thing I've always been on team the general populace is idiots. That's the whole team name. The TGP.
Right.
I.
That's how you truncate it, of course.
Yeah. I got shirts printed on it. Shirts printed with it. I've always been on the team of you're dumb for that moment, because he has very clear motivation for why he has to do this. He clearly does not want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
He is emotionally devastated once he does. He's crying when he kills Zod. Lois comes to comfort him for what he's done. And on top of all of that, all of the literal storytelling they did to justify it, where Zod in that fight says, I will never stop coming for you. I will kill everyone on this earth to get at you. You'll have to kill me. He says those words.
Yeah.
He gives the audience a very clear indication of what's going to happen here. Despite all that, Kevin Smith pointed out something oh so hilariously simple, which is that none of y'all motherfuckers gave a shit when Clark Kent / Superman, Christopher Reeves, killed General Zod in Superman 2 in much, much more suspect circumstances. You probably don't remember.
Don't at all.
He fights General Zod. They're in the Fortress of Solitude. I forget what happens, but Zod loses his powers. There's some MacGuffin in the film that allows him to lose his powers. Then, after he's depowered and no longer a threat to Superman, they drop him down a well, or like a chasm. And people are bitching about Man of Steel, which was far better acted, was far better spelled out in the script. I mean, for Christ's sake, he's about to burn a fucking family. Zod is saying, choose between the people you've chosen to adopt and me, your last vestige of hope for bringing back the people that you come from. And it's honestly, I'm getting choked up a little bit. I love it.
I understand that like superheroes come from a totally different time where like those sort of values were like, no matter what, find a way where nobody gets hurt. Mm-hmm. Like it's but it's just a little dated. That's just comes across as corny to me now. And I just like, I'm not, it wouldn't be fair not to mention that I'm not a comic book reader. Like I never got into it. So I don't have like this storied history with them where like you have this idea, this concept of what the character is and what they represent. But it's not even as this is like singularly about Superman. It's about superheroes in general where they don't kill. That's their one rule. And like, I know the scene I always bring up is from Zack Snyder's Justice League with Wonder Woman, where all the fellas take the school kids hostage and they're going to kill
them up.
And she like bashes their skulls open and they die horribly. And it's like,
it's great.
Yeah, they were going to kill kids. Like they shot at them and she's just quick enough to stop the fucking bullets. Like, let me carefully put these handcuffs on. Let me know if they're too tight. That's just not how it is anymore. Now, like the general idea is like when there's bad people, you fucking put them down. Like that's how it just comes across as corny when it's always like, no matter what, you cannot kill. When it's done in a creative way and it's a really like a real turning point of the character, like in The Dark Knight, that makes sense. It's the entire like message of the movie. I will not give in to this one thing you think you have over me.
That's why the relationship is so good.
But it's not like to have that be just this like general rule of thumb. I don't know. It just doesn't work anymore to me. Like I can't take it seriously.
And I'm not watching Judge Judy beat up those guys. I'm not watching the justice system fail. I'm watching Wonder Woman be badass because I'm watching a superhero film. Like I don't, you know what I mean?
That was a really good tangent. That was some good. I feel like some of our best deep dives are not even in the doc most of the time.
And they're mostly DC because it's all I'm good at. I'm gonna go back and rewatch Man of Steel. I think I
just did recently, so I don't need to. But
fair.
But I do want to watch BVS with Veronica, and anything that Henry Cavill is in, I can get her to watch. It's that simple.
Oh, nice. Me too. I'm just the same way. You can make sure you watch the Ultimate Edition.
100%. Did I tell you this? I watched the original in theaters when it came out, and I was of the camp of like, this movie sucked ass, and then I put on the Ultimate Edition like just on a whim, like, why not?
Yeah,
I was like, an hour in, I'm like, does this movie fucking kick ass? Like, what is going on right now?
I wrote it down in my journal that night when you told me. Derek says,
I think he might be my best friend.
Yeah. I didn't realize I could come without touching my penis until just now. And I've subsequently ruined my shorts. Yeah, so what was I going to say before we... Oh, the one moment that always sticks out in my head in Man of Steel before we move on is when they're threatening Martha Kent by the farm to get his attention, and the rage with which he flies towards them, and he's like, "Rah!" And he grabs them and he's flying through a cornfield as fast as he can, and he's hitting them. He's like, "You do not touch my mother." And I'm like, dude, it felt so real to me, because if you had superpowers and these guys are fucking with your mom, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, you wouldn't be like, unhand her immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just more
I love it.
relatable.
I love it. Plus, it's Henry Cavill, so, you know. That original suit fucks hard, too. The one in Man of Steel. It's very, with the circular belt and just a couple accent lines that don't necessarily look like it's very cool. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, real quick, fun fact that I always like to hit with Man of Steel. The female, like General Zod's like second in command, is Agnes from Dark, the slutty mom from the 50s.
Right, Feora was in the Man of Steel.
That was her name? Sure.
Yeah, Feora. Yeah. And she was certainly in Dark. I remember.
Yeah. She's
remember
very good.
Remember very vividly.
Yes.
Moving on. Guess what, Derek? Of all the films...
Wait, no, stop. Gotham Knights.
Oh, you're right. Before we move away from DC, look at you. Look at on point today.
I got you.
Must be the clarity from Sober October.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I want you to genuinely know this. I do not think less of you for having some drinks with your mom. That is 1,001%.
But you broke eye contact when you said that. You were like, I am not upset with you whatsoever.
We're not in the same room. I was staring at your little eyeballs. But I'm better, so it's I've been looking forward to going into my local liquor store and buying a 6-pack so I can see the owner.
Yeah, and he's like, Chris, where have you been?
Exactly.
I thought you died.
He hit me with that a couple weeks ago, because even when we were still drinking, it was the weekends. I was only doing weekends, which was still a change for me. I was having drinks very frequently before I started dieting. And even then, he hit me with haven't seen you in a while. And I was like, cutting back. And it was like cocaine in my veins. I was like, tell me again. Yeah. Tell me again. Moving on. What's the one thing you wanted to do last weekend? Play Gotham Knights with me. I know it. Do you? Yeah. We couldn't do it. You know why? We talked about doing it last week. We talked about it on the podcast. We thought it might be the first contender for the Cynical Stream, which we'll talk about later. And it got poo-poo review. Poo-poo reviews.
Dookie review, yeah.
Yeah, it got big doo-doo. Poodoo. Bantha Poodoo. That's what I was looking for. Star Wars references for no fucking reason, because that's the world I live in.
It likes.
Yeah, it gets shit on pretty heavily. Across the board, it got a resounding
Yeah.
Was more or less the consensus without boring you all with the details. It's and I keep hearing conflicting shit. I think some of this is going to depend on your affection for the DC universe and those characters in general, because from some outlets I'm seeing good story, but other things suck. And from some other outlets, I'm hearing stories mediocre. Yeah. It's predictable. These characters are shitty. Universally, I hear that combat's very grindy, which I wouldn't have a large problem with, because it's supposed to be a co-op game about beating the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
But it sounds like some of the systems just don't feel good to grind in.
Yeah.
Whatever resource requirements there are for, crafting gear upgrades and I don't know.
The more I, excuse me, the more I read about it, the more I actually think I would like this game. Like, not holy shit, this is great, but I hear that the combat is like good enough. It's just that it's grindy, and like, so you put time into Nightwing, and then you want to switch to Red Hood, and it's like you're starting all the way over. You have to do all that shit all over again. And
speaking of which,
frustrating part.
I'm absolutely Nightwing. I hope that's not up for.
That's not going to be an issue. No.
Okay.
Which
my son is named after him. I get first dibs of perpetuity.
Which is kind of a boner dethroner, but for the most part, it just seems like a not so great game, but like it's not terrible or anything. My only point is I just won't spend $60 on it. Like,
yeah,
but more and more from what I'm hearing, some people say some people say story's good, combat bad, combat's good, story's bad. Like across the board, I'm like, I think that this is just a mediocre game, and I don't mind playing mediocre games. That doesn't bother me. I just won't pay full price for them.
Right. So I'm not paying $60 for a mediocre game.
I have this weird mounting interest to play it. Like I can't wait for it to drop because I don't think that I'll hate it. Like nothing that I'm hearing is anything that's like a huge red flag. Just stuff that's like, that's kind of an old thing. They should have found some way to buff that out. I know that there's like, what's the word I'm looking here for? It's not well optimized, and there's like and there's goofy like shit like in Mass Effect where in conversations that are like hair will be like wigging out and all that stuff that can be buffed out with patches in the first couple months. So I hope that it continues to do bad so that it gets cheaper so that I can play it. Because I don't know. I increasingly, the more I read about it, like day one, I was like Mr. Smarmy, know-it-all, like, this is trash, not worth my time. And the more I actually like am exposed to it, I'm like, I think this might actually be a fun enough game is how I should put it.
Well, and I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Batman fan, DC fan in general, especially with the extended Bat family. I like a lot of. In fact, if I wasn't such an incredibly large Nightwing fan, Batgirl looks like she might be the most fun to play as. But I can't do it because I got to be Nightwing because I love my boy. I have actually been like very, very sad, earnestly sad.
It looks good. It looks really good
at the reviews because I want to play it. I still want to play it now, even though I know the reviews aren't great. But I will not pay $60 for it.
Yeah,
I cannot do that. I will spend my money on frivolous shit all day long. I just got a new little mini amp that I can't wait to test. But I cannot pay $60 for a game that it looks like we might get 15 to 20 hours of enjoyment out of together and then put it down.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Agree. I'm fine with being Robin. I'm the boy wonder. I'm good with that, baby. Your tiny little twink.
My little baby boy. Well, I tell you what's so cool about that? Not to be on a total tangent tonight about everything. I
don't know what just happened.
What? That amp. Oh, I pointed to the little amp.
Oh, you did. Oh, you did. Now I see. It's in the back there. Okay. I thought you were moving your mic out of your way to hold up your finger to say stop talking. That's what I thought. That's what I was like. Oh, okay.
Wow, that's a very important
I listened
finger.
Too. I did.
Did I tell you what's cool about that little Black Star amp?
Yeah, I feel like you're about to.
Yeah, you fucking darn tootin'. Not only does it have a headphone jack so I can play at night and not wake anybody up, it has an MP3/auxiliary input so I can plug my phone into it, play a song and play along to it in my headphones and practice.
Play a song. Oh, play the song through I got you. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Oh, pretty neat.
So that no one can hear any of it and I can just play along to it.
Right.
Anyway, thanks for the sponsor this week, Black Star. Thanks for replacing the hole that HBO left when we stopped shilling for those fucking dickheads. We're going to talk about House of the Dragon later, coming up. Okay, let's get to the actual topic and finish our news out so we can get to these trailers. I got stuff I want to talk about. What's the one film that you from the 90s that you always felt absolutely needed a sequel? I'll give you 3 guesses, even though you have the article up and you know what I'm talking about. Make them funny, clown. I'm kidding. Okay. I won't bury the lead. I'll get right to it.
sequels whose original you forgot about entirely for 800, Alex.
Yo, but I watched this film a lot when I was younger. This one and Independence Day were on a weird kind of 90s rotation in my house.
Right.
We wore
We should
out
get
the
our
Independence
whole
Day.
thoughts about this out without saying what the movie is, and then at the end we'll just drop it.
Okay. It's going to be hard to do a sequel when one of the leads has passed away.
I wonder if there'll be a lot of wind. This is harder than I thought.
No.
Oh, Bill Paxton. Bill passed on.
Yeah.
See ya.
Oh, no.
He was a bro, though. He was a really good actor.
He was. I liked him. He was in a lot of cool stuff. He was in the Alien films.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think of. I'm sorry. Surprise. I got you. I'm crying right now because you're crying. It's like validation for me. Like, I don't think what I said was that funny.
The reason it was so funny is you opened with, you were so stirred on that first one. In my head, I went, this dude's a huge Bill Paxton fan, and I didn't know it. And I really was like ready to hear you list off like at least 6 or 7. He was in a lot of films. Just the confidence that you said it with.
This guy's a real Paxtonite.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He must have his whole filmography on DVD.
Jesus
In
Christ.
4K, no less. Anyway, the movie is Twisters because why not? Why not take an original and put an S on it? Hell, they did it for Alien, and Kevin Smith wants to do it for Tusk. So
Yeah.
if it's good enough for those two, it's good enough. And who needs a fucking sequel to that?
I know.
This is like the height, and I'm speaking on your behalf because I feel like I know you real well enough. This is the height of the problem with the Hollywood machine, is that they'll take whatever. This has recognition. People remember this film.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they're making a sequel. They could have made a movie called Storm Chasers or something. Nothing to do with Twister. They could have even put Helen Hunt in it. And 90% of people, because their target audience is probably people who were not alive when this film came out, would have no idea and think that it was just a fun disaster movie or something. Like,
Yeah.
I
I disagree, though. I think we are the target audience. I think like it was a film that shocked us. I don't disagree that the movie's going to be stupid, but I just disagree with
Derek the disagreeer tonight.
I think it's for us, which is more insulting because it was, Twister was a cool movie. It scared you. It's back when you thought like sand pits were more of a threat. So natural disasters scared the shit out of you. There's a part where they're inside the tornado. Very cool. Only part I remember. And the cow.
Oh, I do remember the cow.
And you know they're going to have a memberberry cow scene too. Where it's
Oh,
like, now
fuck
there
you.
are
You just
two of
ruined
them.
it.
Yeah.
I would have gotten mad when it happened, and I'm even more angry that you pointed it out in advance. Not happy about it. Let's do a fun game. It's called Pick Another 90s Movie and pluralize it for the sequel. I'm going first. Black Sheep. I win. Think about it. The plural of sheep is still sheep. Anyway,
You lost me. I don't have a 90s movie that I want to add an S to.
that's easy. Just use the equivalent of Black Sheep and say Tommy Boys. It's the same film. I mean, fuck it. I love Chris Farley and David Spade in those films, but those movies are the same movie.
They're the same movie, and I don't know which scenes happen in which. Like when I recall, I'm like, that was either in one of those.
If someone gives me the context, I can usually figure it out.
Yeah.
Like the maid, Tommy want pillow? That was from Tommy Boy.
Right. Because she
'Cause
says the word Tommy.
Well,
in the
one,
line.
he says Tommy, and two, I remember they were on the road to get to Detroit to talk to Dan Aykroyd.
Right. Of course.
Right.
Those movies are peak David Spade when he was just a sarcastic fucking asshole. Perfect. All downhill from there. Sorry,
Well,
Dave.
I will say, yeah, his movies at least. He was on a Your Mom's House podcast a couple of months, maybe years. Who the fuck knows? My time's bad.
Is Your
And I
Mom's
watched a
House Tom Segura?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched a clip with him, and he was hilarious, just shooting the shit with him. He was fucking hysterical. And I'm like, I got to think about it like this. All these people who I might think are like washed up or has been. Sorry, David Spade. I'm not attacking you personally here. I swear to Christ, I was making a generalization since I know you're a big fan of the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, Dave.
All these people that you think of as like past their prime, though, even if you listen to them talk and they're usually still entertaining or funny, and it's because just to be in the industry, they have to be a certain caliber of performer. So his interview was hysterical. I was like, oh shit, he's still funny.
Similar to that, he was on a podcast with Anthony Jeselnik, and I can't remember if it was Anthony Jeselnik's podcast or if David Spade has a pod. But anyway, I watched a YouTube clip of it, so it wasn't like I was listening to it or whatever.
YouTube.
And Anthony Jeselnik, who is like right now like a really like not one of the biggest, but he's up there. He's very well known and well respected, and he's a fucking hilarious guy. And he was saying how David Spade is the funniest person he's ever seen perform. And he was talking to him like, his whole shtick is that he's real like cocky and everybody's beneath him, and to see him like deadpan, exactly. And he's like in this chair, and he's like every time David Spade is talking, he's like this, like he's just like looking at him like he's this titan, like he's just enamored by him. And same thing, he was hilarious, like. And just fucking interesting to hear him talk about the industry and how it's
crazy
changed
stories.
Yeah.
He had like injured his back or some shit on one of the movies that he did. He was talking to, all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, moving on. Listen, I'm skipping this Mortal Kombat article.
Excellent. Thank God. All right.
Cause I hate it. I realized about 3 paragraphs in that there are 2 sentences. So holy shit, I can't talk. 3 sentences in that they were talking about a mobile game.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Trash can. Okay, moving on. Silent Hill had a big old transmission last week. Konami has been silent, pun intended, about this series for a long time. And now, you're welcome. Now they hit us with a bunch of news all at once. They're talking about a Silent Hill 2 remake. They're talking about Silent Hill Townfall, which is a new spin-off game developed by No Code Studios and publisher Annapurna. I've heard of Annapurna a lot. I have not heard of No Code Studios. I have no idea who they are. Silent Hill F was another spin-off game announced, set in 1960s Japan. What? Sounds interesting. Silent Hill Ascension is one that was announced, which is an immersive project where participants around the world will control the characters in a new Silent Hill story.
That sounds fucking cool. Like everybody plays a different character in like a continuous story.
A Let's Play Pokemon version of a new Silent Hill story that will be live on multiple platforms. It's really ambitious as far as the idea is. And then Return to Silent Hill, which is going to be another film. Christoph Gans, the director of the first Silent Hill film, is making a 3rd movie in the series with Return to Silent Hill. They're keeping details under wraps, but they did have an official announcement for it with some screenshots. Nothing crazy, but holy shit, did they fulfill the promise of everyone waiting to hear Silent Hill news and then some. There are multiple projects in the works. There's a remake of the most popular Silent Hill game in the works. Silent Hill 2 is the one with Pyramid Head, yes?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I have such vivid memories of that game.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why in a second. I've been talking for a while. How does this news hit you? All of this?
It's exciting. Konami had been hinting for weeks, like we have a big news about a beloved franchise. And so I was really hoping it was going to be Metal Gear Solid, but it wasn't. And that's okay. I'm really happy for Silent Hill fans. I missed the Silent Hill train. It's not like, oh, that's not for me. I just missed it. And now those games are so dated that I can't play them. I actually tried like right when quarantine started to play 3, which is like the least clunky, and I couldn't do it. So yeah, no, I'm super happy for them. I'm happy for me because now I get to play 2, which is as you said, the most celebrated one. The one that takes place in 1960s Japan seems awesome. The way that it's like a guy who like writes horror manga or something is directing it, which is just interesting. And he had said something like his focus, like his focal point for it was to like blur the line between beauty and horror. I'm like, oh, dude, you are getting me really hyped for this. The interactive story thing where everybody plays a different character, like that's just cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just really neat. No, it's super exciting. I have no memories of those games. I've seen a lot of clips. I've seen a lot of the big scares. I know that people like them because the vibe is so good and the music is so like just like dreary. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a dog in the race. Like I don't have memories of it like you do. And now I get to make them.
Oh, hot. Love that for you. And I mean that one sincerely.
Oh, but I will say this. The original movie, which people who played the game hated. I never played it, so it deviating from the story meant nothing to me. I fucking loved that movie.
Sam liked it a lot too.
I thought it was just like a rare and like unique horror movie. Like it just felt different. It just had a vibe to it. Like this sort of just creepy, eerie, hazy, like, I don't know. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Did you not like it because you played the games?
No, I liked the movie. I didn't really have an issue with it. I don't hold survival horror games on such a pedestal that I'm not open to like
a reinterpretation,
or even like you do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I would have liked the Mia Jovovich led Resident Evil films if they weren't complete dog shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Make a good movie and just loosely base it on something. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie, isn't it? Those words were still in the description. I believe I've told this story before, probably on a very, very old podcast. I will summarize it. So Silent Hill 2, I have very vivid memories of when I was growing up. I always had Nintendo consoles. I had a GameCube and an N64. And my brother-in-law, who was about 10 years older than me, Bob, love you, Bob. How you doing, Bob? Rip Bob. He's been resurrected.
Bob is back.
Hey, maybe that's the thumbnail.
Bob's hand coming out of the old thumbnail of the Rip Bob.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but it can happen. I'll see. I might do it. I might not. We'll talk about it later. We'll see if we have any other great ideas. And if not, whatever shit hits the wall, right? He always had PlayStation consoles. So I actually borrowed like his PlayStation 1 to play Final Fantasy 7 when it came out. And then he had the PS2, so we whenever I went over there to hang out, spend the night, we would play like SSX Tricky on it, and you know, whatever games I couldn't play on my Nintendo consoles, we would play. Silent Hill 2 was one that he picked up. I don't remember if it came out on Nintendo platforms or not, or if I just wasn't into it, but he picked it up, and we were playing it, and he had this, back in the day, it's pretty high quality surround sound stereo system in the living room. And it sounded crazy. And there's a mechanic in that game where there's static on a radio, and the louder the static gets, the closer you are to some kind of creature, monster, whatever. And those things are pretty disturbing looking. They have arms and legs where arms and legs don't normally go. They're walking funny. They have to do that thing that will never not be creepy to me, regardless of how dog shit. Yeah. Regardless of how dog shit the horror movie is, if they have something crawling like upside down on the ceiling, I'm like, okay, you freaked me out at least 10% because that's all it takes. And we played that a ton. We'd stay up real late playing it. We'd get up, and we wanted to keep playing it in the suspenseful because we were like giddy from how scared it was making us. Yeah. And we put comforters up on the windows in the living room so that we could play in the dark with the surround sound on. And I just have some of the best gaming memories. Doing that. So I'm looking forward to replaying it. Because I remember almost nothing from that game besides like moments and character. Like I remember Pyramid Head chasing us with his dragging his sword on the ground, and the static on the radio, and some creepy creatures, but I don't remember much past that. Right. Everybody's vaping. That's why it's so foggy everywhere. Where's my dead wife? Oh no, Vape Nation. You guys want to see if I could blow a circle? No, get away from me, Pyramid Head. You stupid cuck. All right. Lots of Silent Hill stuff. A little bit for everybody. So there's 2 new games: Silent Hill F, Silent Hill Towns Fall. 3 games technically, but if you consider Ascension a game, it's also an experience and a new film. This experience on my weight loss journey. It's an experience. Okay, moving on. There was also a really big Resident Evil showcase. So I don't know why Konami and Capcom got together and decided to bust their loads the same week. but they did, and we're here to talk about it. They had some more Resident Evil 4 footage to show us. They had a new trailer for the Resident Evil Village DLC that I don't know the name of, but I do know that it's going to have a new narrative campaign.
Shadows of Rose, I believe.
That sounds right. It's actually right below what I was just reading, and I'm a stupid dickhead for not continuing down without saying that. It's going to be following Ethan's daughter, Rose. Oh, it's crazy. It's almost like it should be called Shadows of Rose. There's a cool trailer for it. It looks pretty neat. Obviously, with Resident Evil, there's a quarter pinch of I don't know what the fuck is going on in most trailers they put out, which is usually for the better. Village was a great game.
Oh, God, it was so good.
It was very good.
And part of this DLC is that game in third person, which to me is like, that's a whole reason to replay it in a new perspective, literally.
Was also thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to have to wait until after, what else is coming out?
Well, they're also releasing the Resident Evil Reverse multiplayer shooter, which is coming out later this month, which I don't care about.
Yeah, no.
Not even a little bit. There's going to be a new third-person mode that you talked about for the main campaign. They are also releasing new content for the game's Mercenaries mode. You'll get to play as Lady Dimitrescu herself.
But she's shorter. That's a fact. They made her shorter.
Yeah.
Not as hot. 30% less hot. There's not enough there. It's gone now.
There's not enough there. Okay.
The Resident Evil 4, they released a gameplay trailer and a story and a story trailer, and it looks really good. I remember when they first announced this, I had said on here, I think Resident Evil 4 is the game where it started to get bad, like a lot of the fans left. Was so wrong about that. I corrected myself the next episode, but more and more since then I realized just how wrong I was about that. Resident Evil 4 is one of the most celebrated ones out of all of them.
Yeah. I have great memories. Came out on GameCube. I'm
getting more and more excited for this. And these two trailers look really, really fucking fun. So, hey, Sadie.
Hey, Sadie Bear.
So, yeah, I'm very excited for this. And I am excited. Right now, we're both playing through Batman Arkham Origins. Very fun, very good game. Can't wait to play some more tonight. And I think I'm going to squeeze in Shadows of Rose after that, and maybe another 8 playthrough.
Oh, squeeze in.
I'm going to squeeze.
Yeah, I'm excited about all these things. The expansion comes out October 28th. It's right around the corner. Yeah. It's 4 days away. That is bad news for my gaming backlog.
Yeah.
But life finds a way. We'll Jeff Goldblum that shit. Games find a way. That's an idea. Either a thumbnail or a title.
Oh, but then Ragnarok comes out like a week after that.
Oh, it fucking does.
So Ari, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Capcom, but we're waiting.
Yeah.
There's too much shit going on right
now. Listen. I got to turn on my PS5. I realized this is a fun story. Remember, for a couple months I was going, I got to go sign up for that new PlayStation service.
Yeah.
And then they hit my card for $60. And I went, oh, okay, I get it. You're still charging me for it. The old, even though they released new tiers, one of the old ones just translated into one of the new ones.
Oh, right.
So whatever I was paying for yearly is still just a thing. So I've been paying for it the whole time. Didn't have to rush. But speaking of PS5s, God of War Ragnarok's first few hours are being reviewed very highly. I know you're trying to avoid things, so that
I don't mind hearing you talk about them. I just don't want to see it. I just want to experience it myself for the first time.
So first I took off my shirt and I started to unbutton my trousers. Maybe so I could talk about it. Okay. I'm sorry. It was a terrible joke. I watched a couple of these hands-on previews for the early part of the game, and I can't wait to go back to that world because I had such a wonderful time with the first game. It was such a rock solid game, and by all accounts, it looks like Ragnarok is going to be more of the first game. There's going to be there's some really cool shit that they're introducing into combat with verticality, where you can jump up to ledges and then
the Doom Eternal treatment.
Yeah, there was some shit they were harkening back to some of the moves from the older God of War beat 'em up cycles, but just integrating into the new really awesome fucking combat of this game. Atreus looks more useful than ever because he's getting older and his little bow and arrow looks badass. I'm really excited about this game. I can't really say much more other than I'm frothing at the mouth to play it. And it comes out November 9th. And in a show of wonderful confidence, the early reaction embargoes are already out and the reviews come out a week before the game launches.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Which
reviews,
is very soon.
The reviews should be out November 2nd. So next Wednesday-ish or something.
Yeah.
Which is a great show of confidence, something Gotham Knights did not have. Those reviews came out day and date with the release.
Yeah.
Sorry, it came out day before. Don't want to poo-poo them any more than they already got poo-pooed.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I can't wait. I clicked on some clickbait title, but every now and then you fall for one where that was like, releasing this on last gen is making performance suffer on next gen. I was like, oh, here we fucking go. Not true at all. There's 120 FPS mode. Like it was a complete lie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, time for
I'll just take 60.
Yes, I'm fine with 60.
Am I the
I'm
weird?
Okay with 60.
If I hit 60, I don't care.
I like 90. There's something about 90 that's just a little more zhuzh to me. It's a little more jazzed and razzed.
Mm-hmm.
But 60, I am perfectly fine with 100%.
If I can get a game to run on high settings, which I can because I have a 3080. Smarmy attitude incoming. Look out. If I could get a game to run on high settings and I'm getting like 75 to 90 frames, I'll just lock it at 60 half the time because I'd much rather have a stable 60.
Consistency, right?
Yeah. I screen tearing is one of the biggest pet peeves of my entire existence. I don't care if I'm getting 120 frames. If it's not consistent,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of cool screenshots in this article that I put in here from the game. Obviously, don't go look at them if you don't want to be spoiled. We know from some of the trailer bits and screenshots they released that you're going to be getting around in part on a sled with wolves pulling you, which looks fucking cool.
Very cool.
Going to be tobogganing.
Sounds cool.
Wait, what's that? No.
I don't think it's tobogganing.
No, that's just like sledding.
You're just like in a sled, just praying for your life.
They have a big race every year that's like, is it just dog sled race?
I think dog sled race, yeah. You say mush to the dog, and first that means something to them for some reason. Mush, it's what their feet are in. It's snow.
What? No, I guess it's a sled dog racing. What's the name of? Maybe it's the name of the big race that it was like the Iditarod or something.
You did a rod? Did you?
I did. His name was Rod. I did a rod. I was right. Fuck you.
Wow. That is an easily made fun of name. I wish they would choose anything else.
Yeah, you better be careful. Never mind. I was going to dig a hole for myself on that one.
Iditarod Stewart.
Oh, that's not a bad one. Title.
Oh, that is pretty good.
Iditarod Stewart. It's not even going to make any sense. There was no joke about Rod Stewart, but guess what? Fucking gonna do it.
Do you want to skip the next one, the Bayonetta thing? We already talked about her. Let's just move on.
Well, we did, but I heard more interesting shit. Did you read this article?
I did, and I've been keeping up with it, and now I'm kind of exhausted by it. But just let's do it. Let's do it.
So here's what I don't like. I don't like when someone makes a big, broad, accusatory statement and wins attention to their side, and then it turns out that there's more information. Whether or not that additional information changes anything, because there's an argument to be made that it doesn't in this case, I still don't like that information was withheld from me. I am special. I deserve all the information I crave all the time. Give it to me now, please. So here's the gist. And Derek doesn't even have to chime in. We can just skip over it. The initial report came out. We both sympathized heavily with her. She said she got offered $4,000 to do this, which is an insane amount of money for a game in its third chapter. And, it's like an insulting amount of money. Then there was a conflicting report from Bloomberg that had inside sources of Platinum Games, the company that makes Bayonetta, who said, that's bullshit. She was offered this many sessions, like a couple 4 to 5 hour recording sessions that were going to total $15,000. They were $3,000 to $4,000 per session. Mm-hmm. And that when they offered her that, she asked for a 6-figure sum. That's when negotiations broke down and she left and had a hissy fit. It turns out some of that is right and some of that is not right. She put, again, I don't know, she could be fucking lying. She put another statement and she said, "It has come to my attention some folks are calling me a liar and a gold digger. I wanted to defend myself." And here's where I start to get upset with her. As I posted on part 3 of my video thread, I explained that it's like getting an email when someone says, "As I stated in my previous email," I explained that their first offer was too low. That offer was $10,000 total. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I never remember hearing 10,000 anywhere.
Not. No,
I heard it was 4,000.
The story keeps changing. I've completely.
No, I know you're upset. I'm sorry. I told you I wouldn't, and I wouldn't make you talk about this. So she said, this is her words. This is her statement. I explained that initial offer was 10,000. So no, you didn't, or at least that's not what any outlet made you sound like you said. So either they're all fucking lying, which makes no sense because everyone wanted to sensationalize it, or you kind of flubbed the number a little bit. That offer was $10,000. And then she says, "Remember, this is a 450, but we know that." I don't know, which makes me annoyed with you more because it's like, no shit, Sherlock. Yeah. I then wrote in Japanese.
Good for you.
Weird flex, but okay. To Hideki Kamiya asking for what I was worth. I thought that as a creative, he would understand. He replied saying how much he valued my contribution to the game and how much the fans wanted me to voice the game. What a corporate response.
Yeah.
I was then offered an extra 5,000. So I declined to voice the game. So that's 15. If you add that up, that aligns with what the other source said she was offered in total. So whether you get there through taking road A or road B, they still ended up at $15,000.
I now just think that she's like a liar, and I feel like Kersnooked into like being her vanguard, which I think was the entire point of why she did it.
So here's how she circles back, and I'm sorry to cut you off. She then says, after they offered her the extra 5 on top of the 10, I declined to voice the game. I heard nothing from them for 11 months. Then they reached out and offered me a flat fee to voice some lines for 4,000. That's where the 4,000 she claimed to be offered came from. Any other lies, such as 4,000 for 5 sessions, are fabrications. Whatever, because we're splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah,
they were saying 5 sessions of 4,000 to equal 15. You said it was 15 up front with the bonus. Who the fuck cares? It's 15. There were not extensive negotiations. I have been informed of ridiculous fiction, such as I asked for 250 grand. Look, I am not. Oh, sorry. One more important piece of information. She says, I was paid a shockingly low total of 3,000 euros for the first game. She didn't say euros. I'm pretty sure it's a symbol for euros.
Yeah.
I'm American. I'm stupid. Forgive me, please. I was paid a shockingly
it's
low
pounds,
total,
but it's okay,
of £3,000 for the first game, a little more than the second. I wanted to. Okay, so we have to split out a couple facts here, and I know you don't want to talk about it, but I have to do this. You were paid £3,000 for the first game, a little more for the second, and then 15 for the third. That is in line with your raising contracts. Yeah. Yes, you may have gotten shit on in the first one, but they were doing business the way businesses do fucking business. Do I think offering you 15 for the voice actor of the primary character and a beloved franchise in the third game is an appropriate amount of money? Absolutely not. But now that there's a bunch of he said, she said, and you're bickering over how you got to the 15K, but that doesn't fucking matter. Now I just think that you're trying to garner sympathy from the internet, and that was your entire ploy this entire time. And I thought she was being altruistic because she was saying, listen, they fucked me over. Just go donate to charity. Don't buy the game. And I thought, you know what? Good for her. She's being a good person. And now it just seems like she's grubby and trying to throw them under the bus more.
Yeah, and she wants to hurt their sales. And that's like, I don't know. Before the rebuttal came out with like the secondary figures of the 3 sessions for what yada yada whatever, people were just saying that like it didn't make, and we said this last week, it didn't make sense for them to pay someone so cheaply and then get one of the biggest names in like female voice acting, Jennifer Hale, to voice the character that you know that they're paying her something substantial. Okay. And so all people said when she initially, like, of course, overwhelmingly people supported her and were like, that's crazy. We did.
Because why wouldn't you?
We were fighting for her last week. And then there were just some people that were saying like, hey, that's kind of weird, though. Like, what's the deal with that? Why would they get someone who's, you know, like, no offense, more of a talent and thus worth more?
Yeah.
And she just started firing back with all these questions make me want to kill myself. It's like, so you can tell whatever story you want. And the moment people just go like, hang on, there's some holes there. And can you just clarify them so that I can like understand and support this better? You just jump right into, I'm depressed from this and going to kill myself. Like now,
Yeah, what?
I don't know. It's just a cheap out. And then of course,
Yeah.
so then when this story came out, I'm like, at this point, I'm exhausted by it. It almost doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. I think everybody's shitty in this scenario except Jennifer Hale. You just picked up a job, Jen. Good for you. Love your work.
All right, let's go to the trailers. I want to talk about trailers. Okay. I don't want to talk about any more of this bullshit. We got to hurry up. We have Hot D finale to talk about.
Oh, we do have. Yeah, we got to fire through these trailers. We got a
We're
lightning
gonna
round.
fire through the trailer. Okay, first one, Creed 3. Have you watched the Creed films at all?
I haven't watched the Creed films or the Rocky films.
Do you like boxing films?
I've never watched one. No, that's not true. I saw the one that Christian Bale was in, and it was very good. But that wasn't really like about boxing, you know? That was more about the crackhead ex-boxer.
Fantastic movie.
But great movie, yeah.
We're so good at tangents. The end credits of that, where they show him versus the guy he was playing, holy shit. Christian Bale, say whatever you want, is crazy at like acting to be, pretending to be other people. Like, you're like, what? He looks just like him. Anyway, moving on. The first Creed movie I liked a whole lot. I like Michael B. Jordan. And as much as he'll sign on to whatever turd will pay him money, I tend to have like a weird soft spot for Sylvester Stallone. He's like an old uncle that like stops by Christmas and always gives you a banger present that you didn't expect. I don't know. I don't know what it is. He's not a good actor, I don't think, by any real measuring stick.
He's an enjoyable personality, though, I think is what it is.
That's yeah, sure. I like the first Creed. I suggest you watch it. And the only reason I didn't say the second one is
very good.
The only reason the first one I thought was very good. And I have a weird soft spot for like, not just boxing, but like sports movies in general. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Like a good uplifting sports movie is it always gets me. I didn't see Creed 2, which is why I can't recommend it. I heard that it was not as good as the first one, but I still want to watch it. And that brings us to today, which is Creed 3, the trailer for Creed 3. Michael B. Jordan is directing this one himself. It's going to be in theaters in my birth month, March 2023.
The month of your birth.
The month of my birth. So the story for this was written by his buddy and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, along with input from him. And I didn't know this. So I knew Tessa Thompson was in it. She was the love interest. They got her before she became Valkyrie and probably made buku bucks. And I didn't know that they had Jonathan Majors in this one. And I have really fell in love with him from every time I see him. He's doing something awesome. He's a really good actor. And
he's a fucking monster truck in this movie.
This
my God.
Trailer, he is a brick fucking shithouse. Sit on my chest, daddy.
Like Michael B. Jordan is huge. Like he's like, holy shit, humongous. And then they like the same shot at the end where they're sitting in the corners of the ring. It like shows Michael B. Jordan and then like whoosh, the exact 180. And it's just like, I'm sorry, is it Jonathan Majors that you just said it?
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. He's like 30% bigger than Michael B. Jordan. He's like, his shoulders are the size of my fucking head. He is massive. My God.
I was actually shocked at how big he is in this trailer. We've seen him act. We're gonna talk about him again. He's in the fucking Ant-Man trailer.
Yeah.
But like I had no idea my man was packing that kind of fucking muscle underneath. And obviously he bulked up. But I'm excited for this movie, mostly because I watched the trailer and I like the premise. It's like there's always at this point in his career, it looks like he's very successful. Creed, and he's gone through the first movie. I'm trying to avoid what happened in the second. I don't know. But he's gone through those things and he's doing well in life. And he's got this old childhood friend that comes back to call. And we've seen it told in stories before. And as long as it's done well, it's always a great hook to get people back into the story. And Jonathan Majors is that childhood friend that came out that was a good fighter, but had some trouble and went in jail. And my man did nothing but work out his entire sentence. And it looks, it looks like he gets bit. It looks like Creed takes him under his wing to try and help him from the story this trailer tells. And that maybe a little bit of fame goes to his head, and then eventually they're going to end up fighting each other. And I'm ready for it. I want another
Yeah.
boxing movie to watch.
Well, shit. Now I got to watch 1 and 2. Oh, do I have to watch all the Rocky movies first? I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm not gonna.
You
do
don't.
It.
You know the basics of Rocky. You know Rocky was a fighter. He won some fights, lost some fights. He fought Apollo Creed. He fought his father.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's so referent. It's like Citizen Kane. Yeah, I've never seen Citizen Kane. I will know every line of dialogue whenever I sit down and finally watch it because just through cultural reference for so fucking long, you know the entire plot. Indiana Jones. That's another one. Never saw it. I know everything that happens in those movies.
Yeah, that's fair. You know,
like when Sean Connery gives Harrison Ford a blowjob.
Well, that's the. Oh,
it's the best part. People really like that. They really talk about it.
It's called Indiana Blowns.
Oh, man. Oh boy, that was pretty good. No, I agree. It is like I don't think I do care for sports movies.
I don't know what it is about boxing movies.
I get surprised by them though, and I know this is sort of a blurred line, but like you had suggested, we watch Ford versus Ferrari.
I knew it. I knew where you were going. I knew it,
and I really loved that movie. Like that movie wasn't like, oh yeah, that was good. I really loved that movie. I thought it was excellent. So. I'm going to take your word on this one. I'm going to, at my own pace, watch 1 and 2 because 3's not even in theaters yet, which means it's not going to be available at home for quite some time. So I've got some time.
Right, definitely.
But I'm going to do it. You're not the only person to tell me that the first Creed was very good. I've heard that
solid movie.
Very often.
Yeah, solid. I'm going to watch 2 soon. I have the urge and I want to fill it with something right now. I'm too much of a child for that. To go under the radar. Anyway, moving on from Creed 3. Comes out March 2023. Looks pretty cool. Titans Season 4. Oh boy, what can we say about this show that I haven't already said? It's a lesson in disappointment. Raven is getting older. I don't know what to say about it.
Is her name Jinx in this? I thought they referred to her as Jinx. I thought, okay, maybe I just misheard.
I might have called it to her Jinx. It's like a nice nickname or something.
Right.
This season is going to include people I don't give a shit about. They have some. I'm forgetting like Brother Blood or something, and like I just the villains they're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Teen Titans are already like a sub superhero team, right? They're the sidekicks or the younger superheroes. So if you're going to give them a threat, at least give them a threat people know. They did Deathstroke recently in season 2. Sorry, they did Deathstroke in season 2, Red Hood in season 3, Red Hood / Scarecrow in season 3. And Deathstroke was a good one. He is a longtime Titans enemy. He's known for fighting the Teen Titans. He's also a semi-well-known villain in the world of, if you know DC Comics. He's basically Deadpool, but serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did Red Hood, which most Batman fans know of already. And in here, it's like the villains. I can't even remember the fucking name. And I'm a DC fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening?
A DC-man.
I like that one.
I remember this trailers for season 1 and 2 being like really corny to me. Like I didn't. But then I remember that we covered, when Scooter was on the show, a trailer for season 3, and I thought that it actually looked pretty good. But like you assured me that it was not worth watching, and somebody else did it work. But then, now this trailer, I mean, it looks kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
I want you to go to 2 minutes, 30 seconds for that shot of them sort of like hyping up before some kind of fight.
Well, okay, you fucking.
I took it from you. I yoiked it because it just looks good. It's just got that fucking aura about it. Yeah,
of that. They did 2 things well in this trailer.
Shit.
They did 2 things well in this trailer for me. The relationship. First off, I like the guy they got to play Lex.
Yeah, and that's like I guess a reimagining. I always know him as no hair, like alopecia guy, and he's got this big menacing beard. I'm sorry I cut you off again. That's the last time.
No, it's okay. He's had a beard sometimes, but yeah, he's usually alopecia. He's usually alopecian,
right,
from the Alopecian Mountains.
Yeah, he's Jada Pinkett Smith usually.
But I like the guy they're getting to play him. He's menacing, and I also enjoy the way that he spoke to Superboy, because that is something directly out of the comics, like the high frequency thing that only Superboy can hear. It's a super Lex Luthor, let me flex my power and just do this for no fucking. He could have fucking called him. You know what I mean? Like send him a fucking email. But instead he had to put out this high frequency that only Superboy can pick up that says, come meet me. I want to talk to you. And as comic booky as Superboy's origins are, and if you don't know, he's a clone made from Luthor and Superman's DNA combined, which is why he says son or something in this trailer to him. So Superboy's got this, as corny as that
doesn't
is.
sound corny. That sounds fucking awesome.
Well, it gives him this cool conflicted origin because
that's what makes it so awesome. That I am so into that.
All right.
I love that. I'm going to watch this show now.
Sometimes I feel like I try to preface things because I assume you're going to find them stupid, but then I overcorrect.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I love that. That's because I thought you were going to say clone of Superman, which even that maybe could have been cool, but that's way better.
Yeah, he's a combination.
It's like an anti-liquid and solid snake. I love it. I love that. That's cool.
True. Sometimes I should buffer myself, remembering that you enjoy Metal Gear, and therefore there's a solidly large amount of corniness that you will tolerate before you're like, that's too much. I can't believe that. So that's one thing I love in this trailer was Lex Luthor and his aura, his conversation with Superboy. The way he did it was straight out of the comics. And then at the end was the hero shot. And I literally rewound the hero scene like 2 or 3 times because I'm like, that looks weird, whatever. Oh my God. And when my boy takes out his Eskrima sticks,
I know.
And he just
I'm
starts
watching it again right now.
He just starts to fucking walk. Oh, yeah, it's good.
Oh man, I'm watching. I'm going to do it. So, okay, hang on. I think you were supposed to get back to me, and maybe you did. Let's not spend too much time on Teen Titans here, but season 1 and 2, I know were but I think you were like saying that season 3 wasn't as
So season 2, here, the biggest problem with this show is that they spend a ton of time figuring out ways to split the team apart to tell individual stories.
Oh, I remember you saying that, and then it's just like the growth was for no reason because they just keep going.
They'll do it again, and that is frustrating. But if you go in knowing that, I feel like it would make it a little bit better. One was meh because it was uneven in tone. There are some moments of the first season that I liked a lot, and there were some moments that I thought were stupid. The CGI is not 100% there. 2 is, again, it does some decent character work, but then they stand up doing annoying shit in the end. 3, again, is like a mixed bag. And I did watch all of 3. And I came away with 3 being my favorite Titans season out of them so far. But still not sure if I could recommend it to someone because...
I'm doing it. I'm sold. I feel like this is going to hit a spot with me. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're talking about Metal Gear. But... I just have this feeling now.
I found the secret.
That I'm going to like see the flaws, but go like, that's okay. I'm going to try it. I am.
Okay.
I might start it like tonight.
Okay. Like the first season, you're going to go through them.
Yeah. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do it.
Season 3 starts November 3rd. You got time.
I'll report back. I'm into this.
Do it. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that comes out November 3rd. Like I just said, moving on to the next trailer, which is for All Quiet on the Western Front, which is just a bucket of sad.
Yeah. It looks good, though, doesn't it?
I'll sum this show up for you. War sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very good. And that's why we had put an article in the doc like a couple weeks ago, 6 weeks, maybe more. And it was a teaser of the show. And I think we ended up not covering it because of the fact that there wasn't a whole lot to like go over. And this full trailer, there's so much great stuff in it. It really does look good.
It is so beautifully shot, this trailer. It's like a fucking work of art. Like it's and I think and exactly the whole point is war is bad, and we already know that, but it's nice to have a visual reminder from time to time.
Right.
There's things in this trailer that are disturbing, like there's just stuff they skip in the war movies because it's the yucky part of war and they need it to be entertaining, and there's like a guy who, like, we see him close up. That's what's about the whole thing, is the intimacy of all these shots. They're so close up to these people's faces. There's this dude in a trench, and you see him screaming in horror as someone comes up with a flamethrower and just like lights him up. Like usually you just see the dude flailing his arms in the background and then he goes out of the shot, but you're literally watching this guy see the flame coming about to engulf him and the look on his face. It's just full of that kind of shit. Just like really people in a bunker like this, and the fucking planks are falling down as they're being like flacked or whatever. And it's not a bunch of soldiers who are strong and brave. They're all fucking panicking because they're children and they're about to die. It's like, holy shit.
It's sobering.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't say all that stuff to make light of the horrors of war, but I just think it's fair to highlight them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Plus it's beautifully shot.
It's fair to romanticize their deaths for my entertainment. So I'm getting that.
This is, I'm assuming, because they were speaking in German about the Germans in World War One.
Correct. Yeah. So here's the synopsis just for all those out there. And I recommend you go watch the trailer because it really was good. All Quiet on the Western Front tells the gripping story of a young German soldier on the Western Front of World War I. Paul and his comrades experience firsthand how the initial euphoria of war turns into desperation and fear as they fight for their lives and each other in the trenches. Yeah, that sums up that.
That's it. Yeah.
Trailer. This is going to be in select theaters October and on Netflix October 28th. This is close, and I think we should review it when it comes out.
I'm down for that. I would like to recommend something to you. It's a Netflix movie. It's about the horrors of war. It's a little closer to home time-wise anyway. It's a movie called Fuck My Ass. It has Idris Elba in it, and it's called, oh no, Beasts of No Nation is what it's called. And it's about child soldiers being conscripted in like African countries and just them being drugged and like sexually abused. It's not like horror porn. It's very, very well done. It's Corey Fukuhara, whatever his name is. He did like True Detective season 1. He did the show Maniac on Netflix. It's another great war movie, but it's like about child soldiers. So it's really fucking well done. Idris Elba is the bad guy, which you're not generally used to, but he is big time in this one. Big recommend. Big recommend. Very, very well shot movie.
Cool.
I'm actually
I wrote that down so that we could try to review when it comes out.
Sure.
And we'll move on. So I don't have all right, so look, the next one is Final Fantasy 16, and then we have one more serious thing to talk about, and it's the main topics. Final Fantasy 16, they released a story trailer, and this bad motherfucker is about 4.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to skim it because we were running low on time, and I didn't prepare like I should have, and that's my fault, and not your fault, and I shouldn't blame you. And it's not your fault, Daddy. We'll do better next time. How did you feel about this trailer?
I felt really good about it. I felt good about all of the things they've released on it. People pick it apart, and they pick it apart for the right reasons. Square Enix is not a good company anymore. But I see people saying stuff about this trailer that I just can't agree with. They're like, what's the one I keep seeing? Oh, this is just Final Fantasy, but Game of Thrones. And I'm like, that sounds really cool.
Good.
Like, I don't know what you're upset about. Or like they're just cashing in on Game of Thrones. Everybody's cashing in on grim dark fantasy right now. Like, please.
Yeah.
It looks cool. Looks like a good setting. It's fantastical. Final Fantasy kind of was doing like a sci-fi thing for a lot of years. And that's where your over the top, just Japanese crazy shit comes into play. I'm glad they're going back to fantasy. I think they need that. That's where they started. And everything about it seems like a very dark and serious tone. There's a lot of, like the Game of Thrones comparisons comes from, there's all these different houses that basically have these different like holy relics, like these powers that they're built their kingdoms around. And they all think that this is what I'm inferring from the trailer anyway, that they kind of are the one to have, like, they and their icon is the name of the gods that they build their kingdoms around, are the ones that should have dominion over the world. Right. So, and these gods that are trapped in these crystals choose basically like, I don't know, messiahs, like people that they just like inject their power into to fight on their behalf. So it seems like we're going to be playing as I can't think of the word, like the chosen one of the Icon Phoenix.
The vessel.
That's actually
Got it.
Wonderful.
Nailed it.
of the vessel of the Icon Phoenix, and yeah, it's cool. I actually recommend when we're done, you watch the whole thing front to back because it's.
I just punched my desk
because it actually seems pretty cool. I will say, the graphics are like PS4 era. I think as time goes on, I care less about graphics and much more about performance.
Yeah.
So as long as it performs well, that's really all I care about. But the graphics, like the facial animations for talking, are not where they should be for a game coming out in 2023. But no, I look forward to it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. We talked about this when they did the reveal trailer, and I also think that the move back to a medieval setting has me much more interested than previous Final Fantasy games. I tried to play that last one, could not do.
15?
I tried. Yeah, sure. The one with the car that you drove everywhere
15.
in.
Loved it.
And cooked meals and shit. I couldn't get it. I think there's something, I haven't figured out what it is yet, but there's something that links 15 and Death Stranding together that you like about both of those games. And
well, no, I think you're right. There's like when you just drive around with your boys, listening to music, and you're just taking in the sights. I mean, that's Death Stranding. That's what's just so.
Like when you're just running around with your Lou and you're hanging out and talking.
Yeah, your little
Sick
Lou.
reference, huh?
Have you surfed down a mountain in your floaty thing yet? Because you're missing out. You know the little floaty carriages that you can bring with you? If there's nothing in them, you can be in them.
Yeah. One of the loading scenes told me.
Down. Yeah.
I'm beelining for the end right now.
Can't tell you. No, I did that too. I got to a point in that game, and there is like 2/3 of the way through, like a huge chunk that there's no story, and it's just like go here, go here, go here, go here, and I got like that too. The ending, in my opinion, is worth the wait.
So okay, I think I'm close to the end. I just finished the chiral relay. That was supposed to be the last point before I got to Edge Knot City. Like my current goal is to cross this big tar pit, which apparently I'm supposed to I think cause Death Stranding so I can cross some buildings to get across the tar. I don't know. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close.
Okay, good. I'm ready for it to be done. And I haven't hated it, so I'm not saying like I want it to be over. Yeah. I'm ready to move on to other things. I've tried to play this game. This is my third time officially, and I'm actually finishing it this time. And because I know that fact, it's just sitting back here, and I'm fucking finish it.
All the praise that I gave it when I first played it, I got to that 2/3 of the way point, and I stopped playing it for like a month and a half, and then I was like, I got to finish this game and just beeline.
Well, it's when you got to the Mountain Knot City area, because there's a million things that they want you to do, even if you're only doing story quests.
Yeah, and
they're like, okay, well, now we got to take BB and do some fucking like tests on them and fix them or some shit. So now I need you to go talk to the biologist and the paleontologist. And then you need to go after you see those. Then you go to Heartman, and then you got to go back to the paleontologist. And then you come back to Mountain Knot City, and it's just this like do. And I'm like, every time they give me, and that's interspersed with cutscenes that over-explain shit, and they're in this weird.
Did you?
We'll talk about it later, but
Conan O'Brien yet?
No.
Then I really regret that I just said that because
That's okay. I knew he was in the game.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Someone spoiled that. The internet spoiled everything all the time. That's why I stopped playing Red Dead Redemption. They spoiled the ending for me. TB, baby. Anyway, let's move on. Our last trailer is one that Derek and I are excited for. It's the trailer for 1899, which is a series from the creators of Dark, which is the show that we had a very long review on back when Scoot was still on the podcast. We all did a binge watch of the show at the behest of Derek, and I would say resoundingly loved it.
Yeah. Season 3 is a little mid. It is, but the ending is choice.
I feel like they took this concept and then they built it up to such impossible heights that it starts to feel, it all makes sense, but it also starts, you're like, okay, everything's connected. At this point, I just get it. You know what I mean? It's almost like wears on you that you're like, oh, and now this is that. Oh, and now this is.
Well, the whole middle, 6 episodes of season 3 were all kind of the same thing was happening in every episode again and again. And it's like, I get this is about time travel and time loops, but,
I appreciate you guys paying off all the threads that you spend early on, but I don't need to know that part.
I have 1899 in the background while we're talking.
1899. So this is basically the Titanic, right?
Yeah, it's Titanic, but there's two.
So a trailer for their new show 1899 is from the creators of Dark, which I just shade. This comes out November 17th. It's next month. The synopsis reads, on their journey across the vast and treacherous Atlantic Ocean, the passengers of the Kerberos, good name, by the way, encounter the biggest mystery of their lives. Welcome to 1899, a deeply immersive new series from the creator of Dark. As with any trailer from a show from the creators of Dark, this trailer has a ton of shit that you go, huh?
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to understand it in the trailer. That's why I feel like these types of shows, it's inherently difficult to cut trailers for. For Derek and I, we've seen Dark. We know that the quality that they're coming with. I'm excited by this, but I still, it just shows me a bunch of random shit that seems unrelated. Besides the fact that half of it's on a ship. Other than that, I'm like, what is going on? There's like crystals people and like.
But it's so well done. Look how fucking good the production value is ridiculous. And some of these shots are just
good.
so. The shot, and it's about to come up on my screen right now, where there's like a woman on the front of a boat and there's just this like black hole and there's just an ocean being sucked into it. Whatever these little fucking triangle pyramids that everybody seems to be, everything is connected still, even in this one. What did I do?
Somebody suck me. That's all I thought of when you said there was an ocean with a hole in it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to like talk about the trailer. You just go watch it. I mean, it looks really good, really well done. There's some
eclectic.
weird, otherworldly shit going on. I think that
there always is
a portal to another world. That's what I think it is.
Another world.
And the name of the ship that they come across, that they're like, we have to stop and save the people on the ship because they went missing, is the Prometheus, which is the dude who gave us fire. Thanks, Proms. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. Probably some anti-technology undertone, but I'm here for it. Yeah. Fuck. It's just the music, the settings, the costumes. The other thing I was telling Veronica about this that I like is I had read this before, but because it takes place on like a international ship, it's not, even though it's made by Germans, and obviously Dark was in German.
Right.
There are German-speaking people in this, but because there's all different nationalities on the boat, everybody's just speaking different languages, which I imagine it'll come up in the show that people have difficulty communicating with one another, and they need people who can kind of translate. And so probably some person who's like the only Japanese person on the boat knows what's going on, but nobody can communicate with her or something. I don't know. I just think that's cool. That just makes sense, rather than having people from all nationalities on an international boat all speaking the same language. Wouldn't make any fucking sense. So I am not looking forward to anything more than I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, high praise.
Like show and movie wise, I should say. There are games that I'm looking forward to more.
Obviously, the mysteries will probably be pretty fun to unravel, but they are pretty heavy-handed with their allegories. What's the right word for that? Like Prometheus is a nice nod. The ship being Kerberos. Do you know what Kerberos is?
I don't. Sounds like Cerberus.
Well, it's actually the same in Greek mythology. It's said either Cerberus or Kerberos. Referred to as the Hounds of Hades, the three-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to stop the dead from leaving. So I'm sure that's going to have some kind of implication. Also, Kerberos is the name of the authentication used for domain controllers running Windows operating systems. They named it Kerberos.
That part was very interesting. That's the part everyone's going to remember about this episode.
That's what I thought so too. That's why I brought it up. 1899. I can't wait to see the show. Yeah. I'm very excited for it, but I don't have much else. Away. Yeah, a couple weeks. I don't have much else to say about it besides cool.
Besides, fuck yeah, fuck yeah,
fucking fuck yeah. Do you think they're going to drop the whole season at once? Please, God.
I hope so. But now they're doing that split season shit so that they can get more people's money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's also something super unsettling about the time period in which this takes place in, where like taking a big passenger cruiser, even though like the technology was there, it was still considered like a risk.
Yeah.
Like if you take a big passenger cruiser across the Atlantic, back in that time frame, there was several things you would have to worry about. Some of them were like old German U-boat minefields that they were still fucking active from the wars and
yeah.
icebergs. I mean, if the Titanic could sink the unsinkable ship, there's something weirdly just creepy about that era.
Yeah.
And I think it's ripe for a show like this, and I'm excited. But I digress. Moving on. Main topics. I
don't think you shilled for us yet. You just did the store.
I did the store. I have been trying to shill in the beginning, which means that I should say more in the beginning, because I feel like at this point you're just along with the people who are here. They're just along for the ride anyway. You know what I mean?
Thanks for being here, guys.
But guess what? Facebook, Twitter, @TheCynicalNerd. Also TikTok. I was like, wait, I'm forgetting one. We don't have the Instagram handle. I guess he doesn't like us.
Yeah. Fuck
so for now we just don't have one. Our merch store is live. Again, we said it earlier. It's on all of our socials. We have some cool designs up. We just put up the design for Coof Troop. And I gotta say, that one was a bitch to make, so go buy it.
Yeah, please.
The Cynical Nerds in the Disney font. Oh, sorry. It rhymes with...
The Bibsney.
Yeah.
Dibney.
Isney Days. Fun. Yes, that's it.
And then we got the Cynical Stream next Saturday at 9.
Is it going to be this Saturday or next Saturday?
I thought it was this, but whatever.
Okay, we can do this. So we're also putting together like Dare Show just said, a stream where we do it together. And we're probably going to grab that video as long as we can get everything hammered out and get all the wrinkles smoothed out. Upload that to YouTube as well. So we would have 2 uploads a week. We would have a stream go up where we play games for 2 to 3 hours at a time. You just get the bulk upload. You can go back and watch it, because I'm not editing down highlights for a 3-hour video. That's a fucking nightmare of a job. If you want to come do it for free, I'll hire you on for the low price of no salary an hour.
Yeah. And since we're talking about it, we have to figure out a game, and I think we should do it now. And here's the system I think that is going to work the best.
Okay.
One person offers 2 choices, and the other picks one of them.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to start by giving you 2 choices, and then you pick it.
I'm ready.
Dead Space 3, Portal 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, let me explain my reasoning.
Okay.
I feel like it should always be a game that is either like a challenge to overcome, whether it's a difficulty or in Dead Space 3, it's scary at the same time. We could play a max difficulty. Or it has to be a game where we literally must rely on each other, a la It Takes Two, so that we get frustrated at each other and make fun of each other. And so that's why Dead Space is category 1, Portal 2 is category 2.
Okay. You've played through Portal 2?
Not in a very long time, so not close enough that I remember the puzzles, and it would just be like easy peasy.
Did you play co-op?
Yes.
Okay.
Like when it came out. So I do not remember those puzzles.
Okay. I played them more recently, but it's still been long enough that I don't remember any of them.
Okay.
Portal 2 is a really good game.
It really is a good game.
I also want to I actively want to do Dead Space 3 though. And
let's do Dead Space 3.
Okay.
And because we haven't done that one. I just chose for you. That was rude. Okay. I take it back.
Well, fuck me then.
I'm going to give you 2 choices, and then I'm going to choose which one.
Oh, I'm a dickhead. We have one more trailer to talk about anyway. We didn't talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't. You are correct.
Like a big old stupid cunt mouth. All right. Going back to cunt mouth on Radio Cunt. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. We knew this movie was coming out for a while. The official release date is February 17th, 2023. Oddly, they recast his daughter in this. I don't know if you noticed. It's not the same actor. But this is dealing with exactly what we thought, which is we know they announced a long time ago that Kang, played again by the talented Jonathan Majors, who's apparently, we didn't know this, a brick shithouse under his costume.
Yeah, big time.
Who appeared in Loki, who did a great job as Kang in Loki, as a variant of Kang. Probably not the same one here. Is going to be the villain of this movie, setting his intro up to become the big bad for the Kang Dynasty Avengers film that will happen afterwards. And it's odd because in this movie, at least in the end of this trailer, he asks for Ant-Man's help. This trailer is kind of a departure from Ant-Man 1 and 2, at least to me it was. Maybe it didn't come off that way to you. This one felt more serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because the stakes are just that much higher. It's the third movie in his franchise, so there's natural stakes building, but it's also a very important movie for the MCU. I think this is going to be like how Captain America, the First Avenger, went back in time, but still set the stage for what would come in the Avengers. I think to a lesser degree, this is going to set the stage for what the big threat is that the Avengers will have to come back together for eventually in Kang Dynasty. Introducing him here in a more villainous role, although we don't know that for sure, because again, he straight up asked for Ant-Man's help here, and we don't know what's going on. But there's also some weird shit going on, right? They're in the quantum realm, which the visuals looked really cool for that.
Very.
We have the lovely Michelle Pfeiffer back here as Janet Van Dyne, the long-lost mother who came back in Ant-Man 2. And she's harboring some kind of secret about the quantum realm that we don't know what's going on. And look, Paul Rudd is just a lovable fucking guy. So I wouldn't say that I'm like antsy.
No, you son of a bitch. You motherfucker.
That one was not intended, but I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to act like it was intended. I'm not ants. Sure. I don't have ants in my pants. I'm not like palpably waiting for this movie to come out with anticipation, but the trailer looked fun enough. And yeah, cool. Okay. Let's see what's going on. I'm curious. I don't know what's happening. It looks like a mystery that I want to figure out the answer to.
I agree. I think that I really liked the Ant-Man movies because they're like almost kids movies. Like they're not quite, but sort of. And that sort of like low stakes just makes for, I don't know, funny moments, and not everything has to be like a bad guy that wants to split the world in two. And that's just how they feel for me, like little side adventures.
Right.
But this doesn't feel that. I agree. That's like the first thing I really like. This does not look like a kid's movie. It looks beautiful.
It does look good.
It really just has like a good aesthetic to it. I don't know. You kind of hit all the notes that I would have.
Sorry.
That's okay. There's not much to say. I mean, not much story wise was really shown. They end up in the quantum realm. We knew that. Kang shows up. We knew that. There's there's just not a whole lot to dissect other than what it looks like, what it felt like, and both those things were very well done. So I feel the same way. Like I'm not like, ooh, I really can't wait for this, but yeah, I'll see it when it comes out. I mean, it looks good.
I'm a really big fan of the song they cut this trailer to, which I believe is Yellow Brick Road by Elton John.
I think, oh, shit.
Or am I fucking that up?
I think it's Farewell, Yellow Brick Road or something.
Oh, that's fine with me.
It is Elton John. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
Goodbye, Yellow Brick. There we go. Sorry for both going silent in the middle of the podcast. Look it up. I like the song that they cut this to. It was cool. And also Yellow Brick Road, they're dropping down a rabbit hole. You know, it's the whole Cinderella / Dorothy and Wizard of Oz type shit where they're dropping into some magical world. Obviously an allegory to quantum realm. It's such a typical setup for any movie, let alone a Marvel film. But when his daughter's like, oh, it's like sending a signal out, and Michelle Pfeiffer or Janet Van Dyne, she goes straight and she's like, you're sending a signal out into the quantum realm that anyone can see. And she was like, turn it off right now. And I'm like, why? I must know the answer to this puzzle. Give me the answer to your secrets, Michelle Pfeiffer's. Michelle Pfeiffer's. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Jonathan Majors, awesome as always. He's wearing the classic Kang costume from the comics, which is the purple and green outfit towards the end of this. Fucking, there's a Bill Murray cameo in this.
Oh my god, I forgot he was in it. Yeah.
If you forgot, he showed the fuck up. Of course, because it's the third. There's also a scene where Scott Lang is fucked up. He's like, his face. You put a meme up with his face where he's like bloodied, and I don't think we've seen him get beat up like that before in a movie. There's also because it's the third movie. Of course, there's one more person in a randomly colored suit. His daughter shows up. She has a purple one. Whatever. He's in red. Hope is in yellow. Whatever. Yellow. Kang looks properly intimidating, and I really. Again, I'm in love with Jonathan Majors right now. I'm on like a Jonathan Majors kick. So much so that I want to go back and watch the series he was in on HBO that I'm forgetting the fucking name of. That was a horror series. Come on.
Oh, it was.
I'm summoning it from your brain. Come on.
Oh man, nope.
Jonathan.
No, I'm doing it.
Okay, you look it up and I'll keep talking. Anyway, he's just a fucking honey. He's turning
Lovecraft Country.
That's what it is. It's very Lovecraftian. I kept wanting to say Cthulhu, and he was like, "Well, sure, that's part of H.P. Lovecraft stuff." Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. I am like not crazy looking forward to it, but there's something in me that's like, okay, this will be cool. I'm excited.
Agree. Empties. Let's go.
Empties. Let's fucking do it. All right, what are we gonna talk about first? Andor?
I think the order that they're in is good and sexual enough for me.
You want to end the podcast with Halloween Ends?
On Halloween Ends, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Andor. It was a slow burn episode again, but it was because it was like the post heist episode where everything was stewing in the aftermath, and it was like one of those things where you're in on a secret that no one else knows. Like Cassian, he won't tell anybody that he did it, but everyone's talking about it around him, and I think he kind of feels like some pride about it until he goes back and realizes what he's done. What's her name? Margie or something? The woman who raised him.
Oh, that's gone from me. But yeah, I know who you're referring to.
Sorry,
Margie,
the old motherly
the
figure.
Old broad.
He goes back and he's like, I did a job. And again, he won't tell her. He's like, I made enough credits to get away. Let's go. We're going to go wherever we want. We're going to disappear. Fuck the Empire. Fuck all this stuff. We're leaving. Who cares? And she says, yeah, sure. That sounds fine. And she, what's going to happen because she didn't sound committed. He comes back and she's like, I'm staying. There's people in the streets. They know what happened on that planet, and he's the catalyst for making her not want to leave. And there's such a delicious, dramatic irony in this. And he's like heartbroken because he's basically convinced this woman that he just wants to like save from this life. She's old, he wants to give her a place to like relax. And she's just committed like the rest of her days to fucking up the Empire wherever she can.
That scene was gut-wrenchingly sad. I thought that was such incredible good dialogue because I guess she's kind of mother-ish to him. Yeah. She rescued him from that planet or whatever.
Mother hen.
Mother hen.
Mother hen and the Henrys.
And she was basically like, had this scene where she's like literally shaking to like get the words out. And she's like, she makes some statement about how she used to always turn down the street to avoid the stormtroopers. And now she walked right by because she knows they're scared now. Yeah. And she's like, you're, in much more poetic words, says, you're a high target and I love you and I want the best for you. But I'm staying here to fuck shit up and you can't stay here because
so sad.
You're going to bring it all down. And yeah, it was very like, dude, her acting. I'm like, who is this woman? Yeah. She was incredible. She literally says, I'm staying and you're going, and that's the end of it. I'm sorry. It was like, oh my God. It was a really great scene.
The line that you just repeated where she goes, you can't stay and I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah. It was a really good scene.
About Aunt Petunia from Harry Potter.
It was Aunt Petunia.
Yeah. I got you. I was saving that one. Yeah, no, it's again, it was a slow burn. It was just kind of going. It was touching base with all these characters. The one ISB agent, she's like kind of finally getting her recognition that she was being so fucking nibby. I should be an ISB agent.
Dude, she's just so nibby. I love that arc. I don't know why. Like, I think that whole thing where they're like arguing over territories
it's like political
and shit.
Intrigue.
Yeah. And they have the fucking Grand Maester from Game of Thrones as like top dickhead. But it really was. Again, great writing. He's been a dickhead the whole show. He's like a ruthless, calculated fucking dude in control of every fucking molecule of the people who are his underlings. And then she stands up and is like, she stands her ground. And I love that they go out. He's like, come with me real quick. And you think he's going to be like, here's what I want you to do. And he just goes, good job. Watch your back out there. I thought that was so good. It was just great dialogue. Great dialogue.
But and I liked the episode. Like I said, it was just not a lot of action happened. This was a lot of good meaty conversations of character progression. And it sounds like Mr. Stellan Skarsgård's character, who I constantly forget the name of, they're ready to just toss Cassian aside. They paid him to do a job, and they're like, loose ends, baby. He should be here somewhere. Track him down. Cold-blooded. It's kind of fucked up. You think you're fighting a rebellion and want every able body you can get your hands on. I guess they just don't trust him. So, yeah.
Oh, dude, the scene when he was on whatever that vacation planet was.
Oh, how frustrating was that?
Yeah, and he's like, hang on, I think you misunderstand. And the judge is like, don't make me hit you with a resisting judgment charge. They're doing a really good job. I think we already said this, so I'll say it very briefly, but I think that this show does a very good job at showing. We see in the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy that the First Order and the Empire they tell you that they're fascist and bad and blah blah, and they look it so you believe it. But this is really showing the ways in which they are a fascist, heel down on the people. Where just something simple, he's literally walking down the street and there just happened to be other rebels walking by, and they couldn't catch the rebels, so they just arrested him instead. Yeah,
he was like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" He's like, "To the store."
Yeah,
he's like, "Why are you sweating?" Store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every little thing. Yeah. Why are you sweating? Why? Yeah.
Well, and even to your point about resisting judgment, on the way up, you hear the judge go, "This used to be a 6-month sentence," and then she goes 16 years or some crazy shit, and you're like, "Holy crap!" And they said it. It was a good example of good storytelling where they set up what is going to happen and they show you an example of it. So the ISB officers go, we're going crackdown. They're making all crimes super severe. That's martial law almost. It's they're making everything, all punishments this many more times severe, just to squeeze the population into being so upset with the Empire that they don't give a fuck about the people rebelling anymore. They don't care about what they won. They care about what they're now losing in response to it. And it wasn't the most bombastic of episodes. The heist episode was way more exciting, I would say. Yeah. But this was a solid entry. I really liked the show.
And so I guess that he has Nemec's manifesto, but has not cracked it open. I mean, I think that's obviously what they're setting up to be the thing that gets him to commit to the rebellion. Oh, he's going to read it in jail. You heard it here first, folks. He's going to read it in jail. He's going to be bored. He's allowed to keep one item. All he had on was the book. He's going to read it in jail. He's going to commit to it. Boom.
Yeah. Roasted. I also, I forgot. I kind of forgot that it ends on this mic drop of him getting put in prison. And you're like, huh?
Yeah. Very good episode, though. Yeah, I agree. It was, I think that's every TV show, though. You have a big one, a big, exciting explosion, Michael Bay one, and then you have to have a cool down episode. And
one for them and one for us.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, this was a great cool down episode. Very good. What the rest of the Star Wars shows are missing is just good scene to scene, or intra scene dialogue, I'll say. And this one is just great. So fucking good. Oh, and what's her name tells him to stop looking for his sister. It's a fantasy. That was really another gut punch.
Oh,
Nobody survived. I forget the name of the planet.
It was on the way out the door, too. Yeah. It was and by the way, go fuck yourself. Yeah. So this first season is going to be 12 episodes. So we only have episode 8 next week. So there's still good. I feel like it's uncommon to go past 10. Yeah, it's 12. Yeah, it was going to be 12 episode seasons. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. Hot D finale. How'd you feel about it? I'm making you go first.
I thought it was a very mid episode with a very
thank God
good ending.
Same. Big same.
I think that the season as a whole was incredible, so I'm not upset or anything. And it's kind of what we were just saying. You have one big one, and then the next one kind of just puts pieces into place.
This felt like a mid-season episode to me, except for a couple moments.
Yeah. The obvious thing to talk about is Lucerys being killed. First of all, I think that introduced a really cool concept to the show. We're kind of right on the heels of what we were talking about, tell then show. We've heard since Game of Thrones that dragons are so difficult to control, but like all we ever saw in Game of Thrones was them like go like, no, don't get on my back for like 4 seconds, and then they let her get on anyway. We've seen them talk about how difficult it is to be a dragon rider in House of the Dragon, but we haven't seen anybody have any difficulty doing it. Right. Now we see it. Now we see that these are still animals that are in the air, and it's just fucking Vaemond just eviscerating Lucerys was like, oh, I figured they were gonna like bump him and he was just gonna fall to his death or something. Nope. He got demolished. He is gone all of the way.
I was looking for body parts and I couldn't even spot anything. Yeah, my man was just gone.
Well, that's when Daemon was talking about, he's like, well, we have 14 dragons. They only have 3. I'm like, but have you seen the size of one of theirs? He's a big old boy.
He's like a turducken. I don't know what that means. Could have called him turducken. Nice. Someone brought up a really interesting like metaphor or allegory the show is doing, where there's like a metaphor for dragons as nuclear weapons.
Yes, I thought the same thing. Yeah,
I thought that was a really cool way to look at it, because they're like, well, we have more nukes.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter they have men. We're flying dragons who roast hundreds at a time. You know what I mean? And by all accounts, you know, that is kind of what it would come down to, unless you were sneaky. And Rhaenyra just lost one.
Yeah,
she just lost a prince and a dragon at the same time to a big old chomp.
Big old chomperoon. Oh, that was like really good acting when she turned around.
What was the name of the crime dog that said take a bite out of crime?
That would be Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 6,
maybe
60652.
Us.
I think it's got to be Scruff McGruff. Now that you said it, I'm sorry, but that's what it has to be.
It's the dragon with Scruff McGruff's
face.
Yeah. Is there something that rhymes with crime that would be an allusion to? Not really, right? Lucerys, and what's his dragon? Arax?
Lion. Yeah. No, it doesn't work. Was never going to work.
That's okay. That was just the thumbnail anyway. The title is Iditarod, Stewart. We're idiots, so we think we're funny. Sorry, it's what you're here for, if you're still here. I agree with you. I think besides the very tense and very cool scene of Lucerys going to House Baratheon and trying to talk to him, that whole scene I thought was juice.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you bringing me? Who are you going to marry? He's like, I'm already betrothed. He's like, what are you going to offer me? He's offering me shit. And it's so naive of Rhaenyra and Daemon to think that anyone would just honor an agreement when they're showing up and they're going, hey, God's King, do you care? We'll give you like some people to marry. And you're like, I don't give a fuck. Not a single fuck. What are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
You're going to make me a deal and then you'll never touch my lands again. Well, you leave me alone with your fucking dragon army. And so why wouldn't they just tell her to go eat shit? And like, you know, like, hey, Rhaenyra, pound sand. But the episode overall, besides a couple of moments, obviously the end is a winner, felt like another just mid-season.
Yeah.
It was just people plotting war, which is all we've seen all season. And I'm not saying it wasn't interesting, because it was a good episode. Daemon, I thought him and Rhaenyra had nothing but love for each other, and he fucking grabbed her up by the throat to.
He's kind of a frustrating character. I got to be honest. Like, not in a. I don't think in the way that they intend. I like having a wild card is cool, but I mean, it's like every episode, it's almost like he's a different character, and it's kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I don't know. It's coming off as like cheap. Like he's just like, what's he going to do next? Like, come on.
Yeah.
There's got to be some like, and there's certain points where you can see the thread through it, but that part, I did not see the thread through it. Like we're led to believe that he's given up on this idea that he's going to overtake Viserys, and he's just like okay with the fact that he's going to be, what do they call it? King Regent or whatever to Rhaenyra. And then he's just like, clearly he's like taking an opportunity to like seize power and choking her. And it's like, wait, what? That kind of stuff is kind of like, I don't know, that irks me a little bit, but not enough that I'm like, fuck this show. But I mean, it's concerning.
It was like they kept trying to tell you that he's a piece of shit, but then they would make him do things that were not piece of shit. And then, but it doesn't matter, because when he comes back and he is actually a piece of shit, you're like, well, I don't know that I want that anymore. I don't know. Maybe I don't want you to be a bad boy, Damon. I mean, he's still married and is like fucking his niece on the reg.
Although it was frustrating. Like, I understood that he was like going straight into plan mode, and Rhaenyra was like, nobody do anything until I'm ready. I'm like, that is the shittiest leadership quality I've ever seen.
Jesus Christ, Derek, she is in the middle of having...
Which is the exact reason you should...
A horrible stillbirth.
Have everyone defer to someone else while you deal with that nightmare.
That's true. She's clinging on to this. No, my dad said I'm queen. And that to her, like any movement in that, any change to that is a threat to her, station of how she feels like self-important. How
fucking awesome are Corlys and Rhaenys though. I love those power couple. 2022.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm gonna get I would make a Corlys Rhaenys 2023 shirt, like an election poster, but HBO would probably just ding me with a DMCA for it.
They'd hit you. Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about it besides cool. Gloves are off now. Obviously, Aemon did not mean to kill Lucerys.
Yeah, his face was like...
He meant to fuck with him. Potentially
you could hear like the Larry David.
Oh shit, he could. He meant to fuck with him. He meant to even maybe gouge his eye out. I'm not even sure if he was serious about that. At the end, he looked like he was more just like, I'm gonna scare the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So he goes back and tells his mom that he's outmatched. And, obviously, like you said, they're wild animals. Arax, it was Lucerys' fault. He told the dragon to shoot fire at that big honking beefer of a fucking dragon. Mm-hmm. And guess what? That dragon wasn't super fucking cool with that, bro. It's like watching two dogs fight.
No. He didn't tell the dragon, the smaller one, Eric. I forget what the big one's called.
Arax. I think it's ARRAX.
The big one or something.
Sure.
But anyway, the smaller one was also fell out. That was the whole thing. Like both dragons, basically, because they were in this like thing, they both were like, fuck these dragon riders. I just want to get rid of this guy. Yeah, you hear Lucerys tell his dragon right before he hits him with the fire, like, no, stop, obey me. They literally say the same line, like, obey me. And then Vaemon says it to his
fire.
as well.
I thought he said whatever the fucking Dracarys.
I'll check again. I could have sworn that he also lost control of his dragon.
I think you're wrong.
I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna rub your fucking face in it. If I'm right.
Oh, rub it, daddy. All right, let's keep going because we got to wrap this up. Man, we've running long again, and we didn't have
this is a long.
I didn't think we had that many. I think we just rambled too much this episode.
That's okay.
A lot of Man of Steel. Let's a Henry Cavill.
Yeah, we're cutting into my Arkham Origins time here, though.
Hashtag come for Cavill.
Come for Cavill.
That's oh my god, I would make that the episode if I wanted to have come as a third title. Anyway, last but not least, Halloween ends, and oh boy, am I glad that it did. I've been waiting to use that for such a long time. Okay. I didn't actually hate this movie. I when we were reading, like, I read some people say, like, oh, this is a controversial entry into the Halloween saga, and, maybe it would have worked better if it wasn't supposed to be the end of the series. I gotta tell you, I thought it was fine. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it like I did the second one. Mm-hmm. I didn't love it. I thought that if you had to rate the trilogy of these ones, I thought the first one was pretty solid. I thought the second one was dog shit, and this one was fine. And because it was to me personally, because this one was fine and came back a little bit, it made it like good in my eyes almost. I don't know. I wouldn't call it's hard to describe. One, there were some cool practical effects kills in this one, which if you were talking about a horror movie, you got to talk about. When he kills the DJ, when he smashes his head into the board, his like jaw's broken and it's totally practical. It's like a prosthetic. And then like he leaves him there and it shows the thing spinning. It's just gross. He cuts his tongue off. That's what he does. What would I like to talk about with this? I think the controversial part is this idea that this kid becomes like his killer protege to like, I don't know what is the goal. Is it supposed to be making him stronger? Is that the idea? I don't know. That's it. Look, I'm Clerks 3ing this as a courtesy from one trilogy ender to the other. I don't have nostalgia for this one. but I've gone this far on the fucking ride, so like at this point, sure, he's fueled by death. He didn't die at the end of the second one when they beat and shot the fuck out of him. So sure. I don't know. I'm saying all of this, these meandering thoughts that are not coherent or coalesced around one basic idea, to say that I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I would not have paid money to see it, and I'm glad that I didn't. Overall, it was fine. The kills were fine. Character motivations were questionable. They usually are in horror films.
Yeah.
It was fine. I thought it was fine. It was a fine horror movie. I didn't hate it. It's like the highest praise I can give it.
I kind of liked it. Like, just kind of. Like, it of the three, it was my favorite. I think that...
your favorite? You liked it even more than the first?
I didn't like the first. I didn't like the first or the second. I thought they were both bad. And I'm going to tell you why. I think every concept of this movie worked well. Every concept of this movie. The execution of those concepts fell flat a lot. But I liked the idea of there being a dude who, you know, in the like vacancy of Michael Myers is yet another guy who's sort of being mistreated by the town, and he snaps and ends up sort of taking on the moniker and the persona of Michael Myers. I don't mind that at all. I think it would have been a little bit more natural if he was like a guy in the other two that we saw this happen to slowly.
Yeah,
I get you don't always have the luxury of planning out. You know,
instead, he got trilogy. A montage.
Yeah, exactly.
Even killers get a montage.
It was the kills were incredible. Like, they were really gut-wrenchingly bad, and I think that's something that like all these movies are good at is sound design, the squelching, and like even just the way the music is incorporated into it. Like the DJ guy, when he dies, the way the like record is skipping, there's just something that like gives you the heebie-jeebies about it.
Yeah.
I hated the guy's face. What was his name? Corey. His face sucked as soon as he put that mask on. Thank God. Oh my God, I couldn't look at his stupid lips for another second. The thing that always drags these movies down is the laughably bad dialogue. I don't care if it's a series staple. I don't care if it's a genre staple. It's stupid. It's like embarrassing to hear them talk to each other. Like,
give me an example. What happened?
Jamie Lee Curtis and the guy in the grocery store. I like your face.
Oh no.
And then he's like, I like you. I mean, I like your. I get anytime you're like writing an awkward exchange, it always comes across as insincere because awkwardness is really, only comes off that way when it's natural. But it was just so dumb and so boring. And just the injected melodrama into every scene and how they just have to like hone in on someone's horrified face that someone would say that to them for like 45 seconds, like just ridiculous. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Hang on, I got it. This is what it
dialogue.
Is. This is what I think it did really well though. It it abandoned the things that I hated about the other two. I hate the whole fucking agonizingly slow crawl from right behind Michael's shoulder, and then it takes like 90 minutes for him to get there and stab someone. Or you're on the other side, the survivor with a gun prowling through the house and opening each cupboard. Oh, not there. Let's turn to the next one and slowly crawl to that one. I hate that. It's like, just do the thing. Like, just go to the next fucking part.
Yeah.
It didn't really do that. They did have an ode to like the classic Michael stab scene where he goes in the house, he kills... Oh, it wasn't Michael Myers. It was Corey in his getup, though. When he kills his mom, he walks up and then lifts the knife. She screams, ah! And then it cuts. I like that was like a little ode to, the originals and whatnot. But other than that, it kind of just did its own thing. It avoided those overdone, fucking just boring tropes. And, I didn't mind the ending. The Michael Myers thing was tacked on at the end. I felt like they were like, oh, yeah, we have to wrap up what happens with him now. And so he's just in the last 10 minutes and just gets stabbed a bunch and then thrown into a meat grinder.
That was hard to watch because they were close-ups of her like slitting his wrist.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
That was a little rough. The one that really got me, the kill that turned my stomach, was the blowtorch in the mouth. And they even had it out of focus, so it wasn't like front and center.
Yeah.
But it's still just like,
bad CGI.
Oh, God.
It was pretty good though.
Yeah.
Well, CGI or shoddy prosthetics, but I mean, it was a good effect. I agree.
I I liked it. There was a really cool shot that I enjoyed very much. It's at the junkyard. It's right before the blowtorch thing, where Ronald, big fat guy, is on the ground. Corey is behind him, and then the dickhead guy with the jock with the gun is on the other side.
Okay.
And
Okay.
dickhead jock with the gun sees Corey, points the gun, and then Ronald goes, "No, don't shoot him." And when he stands up, he covers Corey in the shot. He gets shot in the head, and when he falls, Corey's gone because he's now sneaky. I just thought that was a really cool shot.
It was a cool shot, yeah.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm not like, my opinion on Halloween hasn't changed or anything, but I enjoyed it way more than the other two for sure. And I think people don't like it because of Mike Myers' absence throughout, and I don't give a shit about that. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, he could have not been in it at all. I wouldn't have cared. It actually felt weird that they tacked him on. It would have been better if they killed him in the last one, and the whole thing was Corey and like sort of having to overcome the new evil. Right? I mean,
yeah.
But that wouldn't fill the seats. I get it.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. Surprised me.
It did, yeah. That was one of my bigger takeaways, was that I didn't know what was happening in this movie, and it was surprising. And yeah, the corny part is most pervasive, I think, when she's in the house talking to Corey about how she can like spot the evil in people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could tell because of how he's been sneaking away and murdering people. Like, the one thing that I liked the whole junkyard scene, but the thing that made me laugh out loud was he runs the fence over with the girl under it and she's trapped, and that's a scary thing. But literally, he just uses her to lure all of the others in one at a time and kill them. They all come to try and help her. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I've played this game before. It's called Bad AI. Like, they just keep wandering over to see if they can get her out of the fence. And then, whoops, Myers there.
Wait.
What?
I cannot believe I brought up the thing that affected me most about this movie, and that is the intro.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, I'm going to sound like a pussy dad, whatever. That was like a step too far for me. Like, that was too much. That's why I texted you, because I was literally, if you hadn't watched it yet, which you had, I was going to tell you, like, just so you know, a young kid dies pretty brutally in the beginning of this movie. And I probably would have skipped it if I would have known that. That was like,
well, now you put that on my shoulders because I watched it.
No,
I
didn't mean it like that. I just mean like,
I can be a better friend.
It was just so like, it wouldn't even be as bad if Michael Myers came in and stabbed him in the face. It's so like something that could happen, and they're so
I know what you mean.
Close on this kid with his head popped open, blood. I was like, dude, this is. It actually, I was like, went in initially and was like mad at the movie, if that makes sense. Kind of like when you first watch I Am Legend and he kills the dog, you're like pissed off at the movie.
Yeah.
But then, like I said,
that's such a sad moment.
Yeah, it really is. No, like genuinely, that was like, I was like, I don't know who I am anymore. I guess I'm turning into a boring old shit, because that genuinely got to me. It upset me.
No, I agree with you. There, and again, I don't want to dwell. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about the proximity to real life with that accident, where it's like, this was meant to be one of the catalysts that starts him down this path, because this is what ostracizes him from the community.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes people talk shit on him and fuck with him is because of what this happened. And it was genuinely an accident. There was not a bit of malice in this kid at all. In the beginning, he was babysitting this kid to try and make some money. This kid was an asshole. Doesn't mean he deserved to die. And then it shocked me so heavily, because I had no idea. And honestly, there's a couple things that are like unspoken taboos almost in horror movies, mm-hmm. and they're usually kids. Yeah. They don't usually fuck with kids. And because it happened, though, it was, I agree. Like, I had it up on the screen over here, my left screen, and I was about to play Death Stranding while I watched it, because I figured I was going to be able to not pay as much attention. And that happened, and I was like, and I paused
I
it.
yelled out. I audibly like, ah! Like,
you're getting a burglary. I will need you an alarm. Oh, he's in the living room. Fuck. All right, we gotta wrap it up. We have to do this very quickly. Where can everybody find you at?
Twitch and Twitter at Dr. GloomMD. That's DRGLOOMMD.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter as well at TCN Plays. Remember, we're gonna do the Cynical stream. It looks like Saturday, probably 8 p.m. Looks like we're going to be doing Dead Space 3. We're just going to work out some overlay kinks and make sure that we're on the same page. We'll probably do a test run Friday, which you can ignore. We just need to make sure things sound okay. Next week, we have Andor Episode 8, All Quiet on the Western Front. We have Speak No Evil, and it's like the last month of the last week of October. Do we want to do Speak No Evil, or do you want to do DC League of Super Pets?
Speak No Evil.
Okay. Also, League of Super Pets is really fun, and I want you to watch it. Okay. That's it. We're gonna wrap this bad motherfucker up. We will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
What he said.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.